Thank you for listening to the Locked In Podcast. This episode, we have a special guest from Pete White Boxing and MMA, Jon Radford. He's a coach.
Professor.
He's a friend. He's a professor. It's just an absolute pleasure to have him in the studio. But before we get started, before you guys get listening, make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Locked In with 2 N's. Give us a comment. We want to hear back from you guys, what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. Good or bad, we want to hear from you guys.
Yes, and please, guys, a little bit more Dunkin' Donuts gift cards. I have ran out of all the ones you have gave me. $5 Dunkin' Donuts gift cards. Dave Van Auken. Okay, go next.
That's the most important. Fit Meals, of course, everybody check him out. Check the program out. It's absolutely amazing what he's done with Fit Meals. Whether you're an athlete, just an everyday person, it will find a way to affect you and really get you in the best shape you can get in. So without further ado, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And like always, stay locked in. Okay, we are live. Locked in. Bruce Buffer mode. If you haven't guessed by now, it's MMA. We are live.
Hour and 45 minutes of straight MMA talk, Batman, and
so,
that's it, right?
As always, Matt,
hey, that's good. That's fine. Let's do it.
Yep, that's me.
Locked in, producer Sean,
What up?
and now the professor, a.k.a. Coach Jon Radford. What's going on?
How we doing, guys? How we doing?
Yep.
I
Appreciate
told-
you having me.
I told you from the very beginning, once I found out you're a professor, I'm never letting it go.
I love
I've said
it.
it in
I
all
love
my
it.
posts, tweets, Facebook posts, everything.
Oh, I love it. It's I do like that. Andy came up with that one. You know, Anderson Hutchinson. He came up with that one.
Superman.
And yeah, Superman. He came up with that one, and it kind of just stuck. I was like, all right, that's cool. I like that.
We're doing commentating that Clash of the Titans, and we're like, man, these two fighters. I'm like, oh, look, there's the professor in the corner. Like, that's what we were just shouting you out.
I
the
just
whole
realized
time.
something. You're wearing all Batman, and Anderson's nickname is Superman. Has this been planned, or is this something?
No, but you've been to the gym.
Yes.
So have you seen the boxing
46
side
times.
and the striking side with all the bags? And
Uh-huh.
looked up above. Who's above in the gym? Batman. And who's on the mats on the other side?
Superman.
That's right. He stays on his side.
Oh, so do you guys ever get in like heated debates? Is he a big
all the
comic
time,
book-
all the time. We go back and forth. We go back and forth. But if you're looking for canon and like you're trying to stick to the script of what the manuscripts that DC wrote, then I know more about it than he does.
Okay,
But
because Batman did beat Superman in the
he
comics.
beat the whole Justice League in the comics. I mean,
Which is, by the way, I'm going to defend Anderson here. It's so not true at all. Like, and
How-
not
how
true.
can you say it's not
Okay,
true?
not true, but it's so unrealistic. If you,
none of us are the writers to these comic
It's
books.
unrealistic that an alien from outer space.
he is not an alien. He's a
He
Kryptonian.
isn't. No, he's an alien.
He's a Kryptonian.
That's not. He's he's not an alien. He's Kryptonian. It's different. No, he's just.
No, my
It's
point,
a different planet.
my
He's an
point is,
alien.
if you have
That's the exact definition of an alien. That's the exact.
if you have every superpower known to man or alien, and still lose,
But
then you should be
has
ashamed
one
of yourself.
weakness.
he has a weakness. Batman has 0 weaknesses.
So tell me why he doesn't.
Well, he has a
fly.
lot of weaknesses.
No, no,
He just
okay.
prepares for everything.
Tell me why he doesn't fly all the way up in the air, uses laser beams, and kill him.
Superman
get close,
doesn't kill.
Doesn't get close to the
Superman
kryptonite.
doesn't kill.
Okay, injures him.
He's a Boy Scout. He's a Boy Scout.
We've started the podcast.
Here
off
we
right.
go.
Here we
We're live.
I'm just saying, he's a Boy Scout. Like, and it's okay. It's okay for Superman to be a Boy Scout because that's why they're the best team and the best leaders together, as far as in the DC universe, is because neither one kill, so they have a mutual line of agreement.
Not according to the new DC movies. Batman kills the crap out
We're-
of
we're-
everybody, but I know. I keep going.
Those are all rubber bullets. We haven't seen the victims. We haven't seen the body count. It's not a Terminator movie, and it's not a Sylvester Stallone Rambo movie. You know
This
what I'm
is
saying?
actually making perfect sense right now. I'm into this.
Like, think about it. Like, I mean, you don't see anything, so they're trying to make you believe that, okay, yeah, he shot the cars, by the way, in Dawn of Justice. He shot the cars. No
Okay.
person was shot. And the second one, that was all aliens, so that doesn't count.
So
It's like
aliens aren't
robots.
people.
They killed
Wow.
themselves in the beginning of the movie.
Okay,
Right?
I'm sure in 15 years we'll come back to this podcast and aliens will somehow have like some type of role, and we'll no longer think of them as just like.
You mean a
oh,
bigger
he
role?
killed an alien. It's not that big of a deal.
Well, you know, we're already, if you want to get into it, we're already dealing with time travel because the guy who writes the Simpsons.
Oh my
the
God.
Trump. I saw it. He came
Everything,
down.
Everything.
no, but he
escalator.
no. Go back and check it out. He's written like 100 episodes.
Disney buying Fox.
And he says all of it, and he does it by like he spreads it out randomly.
yeah.
Like, okay, if something's gonna happen in 2004, he'll do it in like maybe 98, And the next time it'll be something that's going to happen in 2013. He'll do it in like 2011. He'll spread out the gaps in the years all the time so it doesn't look.
So you
It looks
honestly
like it's
think
random.
Did you
man,
listen-
I don't know. It's weird.
You listen
That's
to
what I'm
Pat
saying.
McAfee?
Trump is waving?
You saw that?
It's great, dude.
And Trump is waving like this down the escalator too, and it's him as
And
president.
the thing drops.
Yes.
Everything.
Oh my God.
Everything. It's crazy.
Holy shit.
I'm
We
not-
just opened up a can of worms.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's crazy. But okay,
Talking about
yeah.
aliens, let's talk about Chris Mixon.
performance of the night. We had the pleasure of commentating
Clash of the
Undisputed
Titans.
Clash of Titans, and he is obviously our boy. We're cool with him, so we're always looking out for him, and we know he's a special talent as well.
Yeah.
And he lived up to all of it. You told us before he even got in the ring, you're like, okay, look out for this. Like, this is gonna get ugly, and it did. It's like,
It's one of those. He was instilled with an unbelievable work ethic. Like the work ethic rivals Mike Davis's work ethic. You know what I mean? They both are grinders. They're
champion work ethic.
Yes, they have it instilled. He and Chris got it from his wrestling coach. And I even asked him. I was like, "Your wrestling coach put this work ethic in you, right?" He's
So
like,
he did do wrestling.
He was a quarterfinalist his senior year in wrestling for Matanzas, and he didn't really. He cut weight from what I understand. Forgive me if I'm saying this wrong, Chris, but he cut weight for 3 years. In the 4th year, he decided to wrestle at his whatever weight he was at. I think it was around 170 he wrestled at. So he wrestled. He was usually wrestling lower, but he decided, I'm not going to really cut weight this year. I'm going to just, wrestle at this moment. And so he wrestled a couple of weight classes. Normally, he wrestled more than what he usually did, from what I understand.
Two things. Let me interrupt. You're making me nervous. I feel like you're gonna fall back out of that chair.
I know.
I mean, I don't mind you tilting back. You're making me nervous.
You
And-
never tell a man how to sit.
No. You can say however you want. It's just I'm getting like nervous.
He's got Batman skills.
Yeah,
He's fine.
and now I got Superman speed. I'm just whoosh, save-
I believe
catch
you
him.
would save me. I
No,
believe you
but
would.
secondly, I think wrestling is the most. It's like the foundation of MMA. I feel if you can control where the fight goes, that's the most important. I'm
I
not
would-
like you need every skill.
5 years ago, I would have solely argued this point so bad with you, but I agree now.
I literally wrote that
I
on my
agree.
sheet. Like we have notes. We're kind of
I
semi-professional.
absolutely 100% that
If
5
you-
years ago, I would have argued this like I said with you.
What was
but
your 5 years ago?
I would have said, a solid striking base and takedown defense would have been fine. I would have said a solid striking
No.
base would have been fine. But he's
Yeah,
absolutely
it
right.
affects
He's
your
absolutely right.
striking if you're worried about getting taken down. If you can control
The
where it
Khabib
goes, you're
effect.
free.
Right there.
You're free.
He's proving it. He's
Oh,
eating
don't-
punches.
We'll get into Khabib, Connor. Don't
Yeah,
worry.
he's eating punches and
Tony.
he's going there. But Chris, going back to
Yeah,
Chris,
yeah.
he was a quarterfinalist in the States. Was awesome. He was there. He wrestled his butt off and he wrestled hurt, I believe. So he even made it to the quarterfinals hurt. Like I think he got hurt the first match, and then he wrestled the rest of the way to that. But he's just his coach was Coach White.
Bless you.
Yes, bless you. And I forget his first name, but his name's Coach White from Matanzas.
Mm-hmm.
Great coach from what I understand and what I saw. He was a great coach. I went to one of Chris's tournaments, pinned 2 kids in under 30 seconds.
Holy crap.
I mean, the first I only got to watch 2
so
matches. He
good.
pinned it in under. I mean, it was like, are we done? We're done already? It was ridiculous. I mean, so Coach White really put that work ethic into him, made him a dog. And he has also had another coach, he said, named TJ, I believe, that works up there as a coach for Matanzas Wrestling. And that was he wrestled in high school. Oh, you'll like this. Okay. Talking about that. Chris tells me TJ, never met this guy. Apparently he's a really, really great wrestler, though, and really good guy. Beat Tony Ferguson in a wrestling match in college. And he says it all like
You talking about the guy who's about to beat
I'm
Khabib?
talking about the dude
The
who
guy
has
who's
the
about to beat
interim-
Khabib?
The
that
guy,
guy?
okay, we'll get into that later.
That
It was
guy?
definitely
That
that
guy?
guy.
He
That
has
guy.
no shot against Khabib.
He beat Tony Ferguson in a
Holy
wrestling
shit.
match.
I can't
So
wait till
it
we talk
was
about that.
he grinded with him every practice, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. So Chris really has a
That's
fantastic
awesome. I love it.
fundamental, background in wrestling. And he's long and lanky like a John Jones, but he's a freestylist. Where John Jones was more, I think, Greco-Roman, if I'm saying that, if I'm remembering that
Yes.
correctly.
2 things I took away from that fight, besides he won in spectacular fashion, was one, his composure. Like, he just seemed comfortable fighting. If he got hit, he didn't freak out. He didn't go away from his game plan. Like, he just enjoyed it. And he
Chris
was
got
composed.
Right.
Yeah, I know. As rare as it was.
Yeah, hit with an overhand right. That was it.
Yeah, and he wasn't like, oh my God, like he was just fine because he does this every day. And 2 is, I said, he is reminding me of Conor McGregor. And I'm saying it in the point of how he would keep his left hand to like distance and range his right hand and how he'd pinpoint every shot and pick them apart. Am I crazy for that statement, or does that make sense?
Not at all. No,
Thank
you're
you.
100% right because he literally came in trying to mimic Conor McGregor. You got to.
I even had the haircut that Connor
he's
had
eight-
back in the day. I
he's
called him
eight-
out on it.
He came in.
We did.
He came in. I think he came in 17 or 18 years old.
How did he find Pete White, Jim? Let's
Okay,
kind of start with
so-
the origin. Like in comics and Batman, like the parents die and we start. So,
So
here
the
we-
origin story for Chris is he walks in, I guess meets Coach, and Coach comes to me.
Pete White.
Yeah, Coach Pete White. Yes, meets him and comes in and says, "Well, I want to learn, boxing, and I want to learn Taekwondo. I heard there was a guy here that did Taekwondo." He's like, "Yeah, I got a guy that does Taekwondo. Perfect for you. Great. You want to learn that? That's awesome."
That's exactly
So-
how Pete would say it too.
Yeah, and he's like, "I got a guy for you for that." You know what I mean? And he gives him, he hands him to me, and I'm like, "Okay, that's cool." So I started teaching him. He want to learn how to kick, and he comes to me. I was like, he's throwing these kicks on the bag, and they're not bad. They're not great in any kind of way, but they're not bad. Then he throws a spinning back kick. And when I tell you this kick is not an easy kick, and I'm telling you it's not an easy kick to learn on your own. Like having somebody that understands it and teach it, I can teach it pretty quickly, but it's a hard kick to grasp.
It's a hard concept.
It is
Yes.
because if you're doing it completely right, like Taekwondo should be done, there's very small intricacies, but they're very important, right? And it's awkward because you always spin too much.
Mm-hmm.
This kid's not bad, and I'm kind of shocked. So I'm sitting there watching him throw a back kick, and I'm going, "Okay, that's semi-impressive."
Yeah.
Semi-impressive. I walked in, I was like, "I thought, where'd you learn how to do that?" He goes, "YouTube." I said, "What?"
Oh, shit.
He sits there and he goes, "I've been learning for a year. Kind of much just looking stuff up on YouTube, mimicking stuff and everything like that." I was like, and he's bouncing like Connor in here, hands down, everything like that.
The
He's bouncing.
range,
He's
the
doing it. He's sliding
stance.
back and forth like Connor. And I was like, so, and then we started talking. He's like, "Yeah, Conor McGregor's my, he gets to the point where Conor was his favorite fighter, which is fine. Anderson Silva was mine, and I try to
The
mimic
spider?
the hands down stuff that you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Just don't do that. Don't try to do that.
In a
But,
fist fight, guys, don't put your hands
don't
down.
do it. Don't
Unless
do
you're
it.
Roy Jones or
Yeah,
Anderson.
unless you're Roy Jones or Anderson Silva in their prime, you know what I mean?
Not now.
Like, I don't know. I don't know. Both of them, I think, Roy's gonna fight, and I hope-
Yeah.
February 8th, Island Fights, guys.
I'm excited,
Check
man.
that
I'm
out.
excited to watch that.
Pensacola.
I hope it's great. I'm rooting for him.
But
you know?
let's talk about Chris, because I got a theory that was correct, and I just want to hear about it.
Yeah.
It's Conor McGregor. So he emulated. Not
He
emulated, right?
he likes the style. He likes the range, and
Thank you, Dave.
the great part about it is I'm 6'3" and I have about a 78 to 79 inch reach, and I'm very long and lanky.
Mhm.
And my first coach, Jerron Duke Reeves, one of my good friends, up in South Carolina, when he started teaching me how to box, he didn't change my stance. So
Kept you
he kept
awkward?
my Taekwondo stance. All he asked to do was just open up my left hip more, which means just take my left foot. Excuse me. Ooh, I just burped in there. Open up my left foot and just open up my hips more.
So you had
my
an
right hand.
awkward stance almost for boxing.
I just had a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it flowed well with the way I moved
Mhm.
because Taekwondo just came I did it for so long.
Natural to you.
Natural, and it was natural. So I just did that. And I correlated it with basketball, with trying to make a guy go to his left. I just opened up my left foot.
1998
You know
state
what I'm saying?
champion, Mainland Buccaneer
By
right
the
there.
way, you
Shout
never
out.
told me you were a state champion. We talked about basketball. That's something you usually say
Why
right
you
away.
gonna tell-
Yeah, I'm a state champion.
Why are you going to tell somebody that when you rode the pine the whole time? Bro?
doesn't matter.
I sat
You
behind
have a-
two of the best players that ever
You
come
have
out
a
of
ring,
Rouge
right?
County.
You had a ring?
I mean, yeah, I have a ring, but
Okay, then you don't have to say anything else.
Oh, well, I'll just show it. Just show it.
I wouldn't
No,
say
man.
anything.
I'm more proud of my national championship or not national championship, but my bronze in Taekwondo for nationals.
You did tell me that, I
Yeah.
believe.
And
Yeah.
I'm more proud of my Taekwondo accomplishment that way, and I'm more proud of getting my scholarship at the age of 28 to go back to college to play basketball than I am of winning that state championship. That's no offense to my teammates there.
No,
They
no,
did a
yeah, yeah.
fantastic job, but I was a sophomore and I rode the pine, guys. You didn't need me. You did not need me.
Man.
But
He's like the Darko Milicic.
I'm just. Oh, if I got in the game, we were blowing some people
Yeah, you
out.
had the
Like, that's what I'm
cigar.
saying.
Where do you see? Every time I see him fight, spar, it's like he obviously lives in the gym, and that's the type of mindset you have to have if you want to.
He's a true grinder.
Yeah. So where do you think? Like, where do you see him in the next 2 years because it's hard to build a name and a brand for yourself because it's a lot of
Well-
networking. But if you're an unbelievable talent,
Well, let me-
people see that.
He is, and people are looking at him in the amateur ranks right now, and
Mhm.
he's going to be one of those fighters that I believe that's going to be. It's kind of going to be probably hard to get him a fight at some point. You know what I mean? And then the only fights we will get are extremely tough ones.
In what weight class would you say he's the best? Like what he competes at the most? 'Cause
He,
he's my height, 6'2", right?
He's 6'1", 6'2", but yeah, he's growing a lot right now, and I think we're gonna go fight 170. I think that's where we're gonna be.
So that's a tall, lanky 170. That's not like a Wonder Boy Thompson's around that height.
He's a little bit shorter than me. He's long, he's lanky, he's got range, and he has great wrestling. So getting him down is tough for anybody, and it really is. Like I mean, the guys in the gym, it's tough for people. Unless he's tired, it's tough for him to take him down, especially when there's not the wall. If you're trying to take him down the middle of in the middle of the mat, good luck with that, guys. I mean, really, good luck with that. Don't shoot, don't do it. He's gonna stuff you. He's gonna eat you. He's just too long. It's like when John Jones sprawled on somebody, no one ever got his legs. I mean, if you think about it, if he ever had to sprawl, I don't even know if he ever had to, but if he
could
did,
just put his arms out.
but in practice, when I saw him, when somebody would shoot on his legs are so long, he's stretched back, hips are in your face, and it's just you're not getting it.
No, see, exactly.
And
So,
it's the same thing with Chris when he does stuff like that. He's kind of for that weight class.
so the hardest obstacle is to get him a fight.
At some point, it will be. At some point, you know, I mean, it's just the way it is because he's
But-
had 5 fights and 5 TKOs.
Yeah, and
That's
not even that,
ridiculous.
guys. He's fighting boxing and MMA.
And MMA.
What do you think?
He likes them both.
He likes both.
He likes them both.
Do you think anything in 2 years? Hey, lean one way or another, or just shoot? Chris?
He's one of those kids that has a great head on his shoulders. He understands goals. He wants to go to school still. He wants to do something in that range. So that's awesome. And I commend that
Yeah, for sure.
100%. So it's just he's gonna take it. He takes it one step at a time every time. It's on to the next one after this one.
Yeah.
It's on to the next one after this one.
I think whatever you love the most is what he should do. And I know it sounds cliche, but when what? Oh, but when he, okay, you want to go?
No, keep talking.
Dave's like tapping on my shoulder. No, like when you do something you love, the passion will never get old. And it's like, it's not like, okay, I'm going to the gym again. Let me do this. It's like, if you love MMA, go MMA. If you love boxing, go boxing. But if he loves both, I guess
He enjoys both of them.
that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, he
Which
really
one do I
enjoys
go
both
to?
of them, and he wants to excel the best he can at both of them. And I think you can. I really do. As at this day and age, like Rory McDonald came up learning everything, and George St. Pierre was even said at one
That's a
point
great
to be
example.
able to make the national team for Canadian wrestling because he was wrestling with them every day. Like he was good enough to compete for that if you wanted to. I mean, you could do 2 things if you wanted to. You really can. And you just got to balance it the right way. Now, once you get to the big stage, I mean, if you want to know where the money's at, we all know where the money's at right now, right? It's hard to. I love MMA. I love it.
The money is in politics. The money is more into boxing.
And that's just the thing. So
But
if
the
you ever make it
fastest-
that way,
the fastest growing sport,
is MMA.
MMA. So I don't know. That
I think
has the
boxing
potential
money wise
to
is it's very top heavy.
has the potential to change.
It does. It does.
Because,
It does.
I'm sorry, Sean. You've been having a point for the longest.
No, it was just going to be more along the training side of it. If he's doing boxing and MMA, like, does that come into play? Like, if he's bouncing from one fight to the other, does that mess with your psyche? Like, you're trying to plan for a boxing match, and then the next fight you're now planning for MMA. Like, you have that different mindset. Like we saw when we were watching the McGregor Mayweather fight, you saw McGregor almost get into some of his MMA roots, like trying to.
That's a great point.
Does that mess with him during training?
I got 2 points for that, and that's a great question. We came across that today when him and Mike were getting work in.
Wait.
I would love to see
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I would
Wait.
love to
Where's
see
the?
that.
That's behind closed doors, fellas. We don't get to watch nothing like
Where's
that.
the tickets for that? Holy shit, guys! Michael Beast Boy Davis and Chris Mixon just throwing.
Yeah, they like you see
Let's
that today.
go.
So he does like boxing movements to where he ducks his, he drops low and he rolls his shoulder, and that's you can't do that in MMA because you can get kicked in the face.
Yeah,
Exactly.
You get kneed.
Knee
So he has to stop that.
city.
There's certain things there that we do come across, but that's why the coach is there to remind you and where to work on it. If we have enough gap between fights, it's perfectly feasible. But it's also at the time, he will concentrate on one and he'll pick that when it comes time. That'll be all on him. Whatever he decides to pick, that'll be up to him. But it's great that he likes to do both because the wonderful part about it is, boxing. It's not like doing jiu-jitsu where you don't get hit. It's not like doing a wrestling match where you don't get punched in the face. You're not getting hit, right? The biggest thing with striking, because he's wrestled his whole life, the biggest thing with MMA and him, since he's wrestled his whole life, will be he'll always be comfortable when somebody's grabbing him. You know, when somebody's trying to grapple with him, he's always going to be comfortable. He's done it for too long. And it's
He's
in his
grown
blood.
accustomed to that.
He's a dog. I mean, they breed. You know, wrestling breeds dogs, and he's got dog in him. So when you grab him, he's going to grab a hold back, and he's going to try and do what he needs to do to be in the right position. But in boxing, it keeps the flow of your striking going, and a lot of guys can wrestle without ever thinking because they've done it for so long because it's a great base. But striking becomes unflow. It doesn't have a
come
flow. It
naturally.
doesn't come natural. But by boxing and doing MMA, whenever you go back into because how does every fight start?
On the feet.
And you have to shoot at some point to get him down.
I think wrestling can help relate your game to the MMA world as far as that culture that gets bred into you of hard work and just grinding.
Absolutely.
I think boxing can help relate to MMA because now Connor's going to come back to MMA, hopefully, and I think his hands will be better than ever. I don't know if MMA helps boxers. Can I make that argument?
You could. I would
Yeah.
say. I mean, watching it, you could say that, but it helps. It's a different way because, like, it helps with toughness. It does help boxers in a toughness way.
Good point.
Because you're taking multiple strikes coming different directions, and it's grueling.
Now you're just focusing on one.
Yeah. Now, so you make Connor have cardio for 12 rounds, and legit cardio. I'm talking about world class boxing cardio for 12 rounds, and he may lose still. Don't get me wrong, Mayweather's phenomenal adapter. He may lose still, but he's not going to get finished if you give him cardio.
Yeah.
I don't believe he gets
I
finished.
know that
then.
bothers me
Yeah.
so much.
I truly believe that, and I'm talking
He
about
gassed out,
like Pacquiao in his prime cardio. World class boxing cardio, which
Sure.
a lot of people don't understand is just as grueling as U.S. Olympic athlete wrestling cardio.
Yes.
it's just the same.
That's
It's
what I
absolutely
applaud
the
Floyd
same.
with.
Yeah, there's
Floyd
that.
looked, especially in his prime,
Yeah.
he looked the same in round 12 as he did in round 1.
Exactly, and 36 minutes on your feet. If I'm doing that multiplication right, 36 minutes on your feet.
There's that college education guy.
Right, there's the
professor.
Whoa! 36 minutes on your feet throwing. What would you say average? For Mayweather, you're throwing maybe 60 punches around.
Yeah.
I would say.
A
give or
defender
take.
fight around 60.
But you
I think
throw
an
somebody like
offensive fight
Pacquiao,
up 100.
you're throwing
120.
hundreds. He's finishing the fight with
Yeah.
800 punches, not 700 punches.
And
You
we're
know,
not talking about how fatigued when you miss a punch.
Yeah.
That never gets talked about.
or all the punches
Yeah.
you're absorbing.
Yes.
I mean, all of that takes. It's massive amounts of cardio. It's absolutely ridiculous to be world class 12 rounds, champion with the lights. Because what you don't understand is, and you'll feel it more. No, it's not the lights of the people around you. I mean, it's the lights. The lights are hot.
It was hot.
They're.
It was hot.
I was sweating.
I had the jacket on. I was
They
sweating a little
beat
bit.
down on you. Like when you get to that area, they beat on you. It's hot in the ring.
Yeah.
And it's made to be because you need to be sweating. You need to be a little bit lathered
Loose.
up. Yeah, loose. You don't want it to be cold in a big arena because it's going to be cold everywhere else. So the elites, it has to be kind of like that. But it's hot. You got to be ready for that.
Yeah.
It's hot in the ring.
When you coach him, obviously you're in his corner.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the type of fighter that you're like hard on, or is he the type that's just calm and he just listens to everything? It's like I remember you called out a combination, and I think Dave and I looked at each other. It's like, holy crap! It's like anything you say, he does. It's like you have a remote controller, and you're
You
just
were like
You want
in
to
his
hear something
ear.
funny?
It's
Here's something funny.
Give us.
Okay, so we're in the back room before his fight, and I tell him, and I'm very, very proud of Chris. I'm
Yeah,
very,
you
very proud
should
of
be.
Chris. You know what I mean? And I get nervous when he fights, but when it came to this one, I just kind of knew. I kind of just knew something, and I was kind of like, man, you make me want to get back in there, man. I was like, Chris, let's change. I was like, let me change. Let me fight, man. Like you corner me, let me fight. And he goes. No, I'm the tool, and you're the carpenter. I'm the paintbrush, and you're Picasso.
That's what it seems
That's
like.
what he said, and he goes, you just tell me what to do, and I'll make it. You do it through me. I was like, let me be the tool. I was like, all right, man, whatever, that's cool. I
That's
was like,
the
but I was
ingredients
like,
for a
and
champ.
yeah, it is. He's just very coachable, man. He's just he's funny. He's a good kid. He's got a good head on his shoulders, but he's extremely coachable. And Coach White, goes back to props to that, and all those the team in Matanzas helped out with him. And his dad is very military, so I'm sure he instilled a good work ethic and just came natural. You know what I mean? So because
he took
I think
a
he's
selfie with us right after the fight too.
Oh,
the
yeah,
first thing
absolutely.
he does is he comes out and he takes a
Was it
picture.
was it for Snapchat? Was it for Snapchat?
He
He's
puts
a
it on
Snapchat
Instagram,
fiend,
too.
man.
I'm like,
He's
come
for
on
everything. He's a Snapchat fiend. He's funny.
I'm like, he's just enjoying it, and I'm like, this guy really enjoys what
he
he's
loves
doing.
fighting. And he's never mad. Like he's not mad at you. He just loves the fight. He loves the game. He loves everything about
That's
it.
a dangerous guy.
Like he comes to the gym like he loves doing it. Like I mean, he has a head on his shoulders. He's a grinder, and he's just it's fun. He doesn't have to be one of those guys that get mad at you. He'll shake your hand. He'll smile at you. He'll get serious with you if you want to. If you want to get dirty in there, he's gonna get dirty. But at the end, he's gonna shake your hand. He's gonna get excited for himself. And he's gonna go on about his business.
You kind of just got me a thought. So when you're talking about the stare down and like people get mad, does trash talk bother him, or does he trash talk?
No, he doesn't. He just doesn't trash talk. He just nods his head.
Because I know he likes Connor, so I didn't know if
he doesn't. No, he doesn't trash talk like that. Like we do it back and forth with each other because he like in the gym he's that little brother that I never had. I guess you want to say
you
it.
got to beat up on him.
I have to. If I don't punch this kid in the face every once in a while, he gets.
That's true love, actually. That's true love. If you don't punch him in the face,
Chris, I do it because I love you. I do it because I love you. But I spar with him a lot, and we've sparred in the 2 years that he's been here, or the year and a half that he's been here, or whatever it is.
It's only been a year and a half.
I don't know. I time goes so quickly. You know what I mean?
Life's quick.
It is, but it just we've been working. All the time together since he's been in the gym. We've sparred so many times. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous. And we've gone hard. Like, kids rocked me before. Never tell him that. But, I mean, I'm sure
he's going to listen
to
this.
this.
So.
He knows everyone's
We're live, John. He's listening right now.
When he rocks me, he rocks me to the body. And he already knows that. Like, it'll be a body shot or something like that. But he has hit me with some really thunderous shots. And I in my little bit of giving myself an ego right here, I've taken all of them. You hear that, Chris? I've taken all of them. I've taken all of them. But I have. But then I see him hit these guys in this. And
They
I'm
don't
like,
take 'em.
I'm like, they don't take them. They don't take. And I'm like, I don't know if he's not hitting me that hard. And then I wonder.
Maybe it's a little bit of both. You're tough. They just
Maybe I don't know. But then I'm like, is he trying to take it easy on me because I'm old? I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like that. So I go a little bit. I try to go hard sometimes. You know what I mean? And we go at it. But he just loves it. I mean, and I can't say it any other way. He's like Mike Davis. He's like Andy. They love it.
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, after that, I was going to say, we said Mike Davis 3 times, gave Chris Mixon a lot of love. If you want to say one more thing, we definitely got to jump to Mike.
Yeah, I was going to say a couple
We got to
things.
talk about the beast.
It's like, okay, you have a gym. Shout out to Coach Pete again. Pete White Boxing, MMA.
The mastermind behind it all. He's the man.
And he's the kingpin of MMA is what I've called him in boxing. He's the kingpin. He's like, oh, yeah, I talked to that guy. I've known him for years. I'm like, God, who do you not know? And so my point is I think what makes your gym so special is not only the atmosphere you have, but I can literally argue you have a future champion in Taylor. You have a future champion in Mike. You have a future champion in Anderson. You have a future champion in Chris. It's like how many gyms can possibly say that about that many people?
Yeah, I mean we're rebuilding in the amateurs, which is great. It's awesome. I love it. We're starting. Even our boxing side is starting to blossom. In the amateurs, and it's starting to look good.
Yeah, and I'm leaving out people. I'm
sorry.
If I am,
No,
but-
you're not. No, it's fine. But I'm saying we have a lot of talent, and Coach will say it time and time again, and so will I. What separates the talent in the gym and why there's gaps, if you ever see a gym, it's the ones who work who want it. You know what I mean? It's just separate. It's just a work ethic. And
for anything,
it is for anything. The work ethic changes it. But if you come in and you put the work in with us, you can do tremendous things. You can get to where you want to get. I mean, there's between his knowledge, between the style that I use, that I like, and everyone else in there, with the pros that we have, with even the amateurs we have, with what we, the knowledge that they have, we have a great foundation right now to really just explode.
Incredible.
When it happens, it's just going to explode, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. I'm excited for the guys.
Okay, Dave wants to play this.
Mike Davis, Island Fights Promotion, starts at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It also features MMA prospect Mike Davis, Island Fights Promotion.
For those of you that don't know, that's Ariel Hawani, who's a step below us on the podcast world. The
Yes,
Locked
he
In
is.
Podcast,
Yes, he is.
The MMA Hour, and I saw that. I'm like, oh my God, Ariel Hawani just shouted out Mike Davis. How does that feel as to be like you're his coach? How does that feel? Like it's just incredible.
It is. It's awesome for him. That kid has killed it. Killed it. He's a grind. He's the epitome of work ethic. I mean, from what is he? 22-0. All like completely 22-0 from amateur all the way up, and that's including pro boxing. Kids,
Yeah,
kid's
that kid's
4-0
a
in pro
monster,
boxing or
guys.
3-0 in pro boxing. I don't know. He hurts people when he
I
hits
just
people.
got a
It's just what it
Facebook,
is.
and it's because everyone's like, get a Facebook. So I'm still getting used to it. And I'm like, this can't be right. Am I looking at the same post? He's like literally clocking into a gym every time I go in.
Yes.
On Facebook.
Yeah,
I'm
oh, no,
like, am
yes.
I seeing the same post over and over again, or is this a different thing? It's like LA Fitness, Pete Light. It's like, oh my god.
If you wake up at 3:30, he might be in a gym.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like,
He might be running. You never know. I mean, he does marathons in the gym for cardio. Like it's just, hey, let me do 26 miles on 8 different pieces of equipment.
Then
You know?
watches a lot of anime. In his room.
Yes, while he's
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
the 26
He's like
miles. How do you think he
jogging, watching
finishes
anime.
so well?
That's Mike Davis.
He's like, Dragon Ball Z, I love
Yeah.
it. Let's go. He's like, I'm gonna beat Goku. He's gonna beat Goku.
Ah, woo,
He's Goku.
good.
Let's just put it that way.
I'm just like, this guy is always in a gym.
Yes.
He's Goku. Like
Yeah.
he works that hard, and you know what? But it shows.
It does.
It shows. The
February
kid,
8th, guys. Island Fight.
Yes, check it out. He
Definitely
is-
get out there. Roy Jones' last fight. Mike Davis's maybe last fight in the before he goes somewhere more higher up.
Let me
throwing
just
that
say,
out
so
there.
is this his last fight before
I
the
am.
U to the F to the C?
I'm hoping. I would think so. I mean, we got Ariel Hawani. You got Ariel Hawani shouting him out right now. So
And the
it-
locked in crew.
And,
right?
and no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I love you guys. I'm sorry.
I
You're
know,
absolutely
no,
right.
I'm just messing.
No, but he.
All right,
but you are
cut
better.
the feed. We're done. Have a great night, guys.
But I mean, you got that right there is just gonna get those fans that don't quite know his name yet.
Yeah.
The out of the region, it's gonna get them looking, and it's on Fight Pass, right? We already
Yeah.
said that it's on Fight Pass, right?
UFC
So
Fight Pass.
yeah, it could be humongous, you know what I mean, and everything like that. And I don't think he's the type of prospect that you need to take a second look at once you see him. I mean, you can see it. You can see the ridiculousness of it.
I saw his
That's
last.
what I was going to say. The very first time.
When you first watch him, you're just like,
Yeah, future champ.
I know. I'm looking at it, and he's so composed. He was like literally stalking this guy down, and he's just like, "Okay, yep, come on." And every time he hit him, it hurt him. And it's
Oh.
like he's composed everywhere he goes, on the ground, wrestling, striking, knees,
Everything.
kicks. I'm like, holy crap!
I say the greats find what they're great at early, and they know it. Anderson Silva found out what he was good at early, and he knew it, right? Mayweather found out what he was great at early, and he knew it. Your boy, I don't like him, but LeBron James found out what he was good at early, and he knew it. You know what I mean?
King since out the womb.
Yeah. MJ all day. But we're going back to the combat sports. But the greats find it, like,
Sure.
and he found it. He's supposed to fight. I mean, Lordy.
Yeah.
Kid can go. Like, he can go. And he goes with different weight classes through his training. And he can run through damn near all of them, I think. I would.
He has
Let's have
that-
an open weight category. My money might be on Mike Davis for all of it. I don't care if
he,
you put.
he has next level.
I
It's
ha-
just that next level.
I have a fun story. My friend, like my brother Rob, I always talk about him. He plays for Bethune-Cookman. He redshirted this year. He's playing next year, but he goes to LA Fitness, or he used to, and always used to work out and lift because he's just trying to get bigger. And he's probably around like 215, 220 of just muscle. And he's like, that Mike Davis guy, I actually see him at LA. I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. He's like, bro, he's doing my weight. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, no, he's benching what I bench. And I'm like, how much do you think he weighs? He's like, oh, he's got to be like 180, 170. I'm like, what? No, man. No. He's fighting. No.
He
He's like,
fights at
"How much?"
145.
I know, and I'm like, yeah.
He's a monster.
So that's just so scary. Someone that strong at that weight class. He's like throwing people out of the ring.
Did you hear the last switch kick that he hit on that guy in his
Oh,
chest? It was
yeah.
like a gong went off in the ring.
Yeah.
To me, I honestly don't know how his heart didn't stop when he got hit kicked in the chest like
Yeah,
that.
no,
he
we're
got
watching
kicked so
live.
that hard. Like I hold for kicks. I've been kicked by a lot of people. I like holding pads, like world class, taekwondo athletes, heavyweights, all that kind of stuff. I've held for guys that just blast the thing. And he legitimately makes my forearms hurt.
Bro, he kicks tires. Like we
Yeah,
saw that.
yeah.
We're like, and we had to make
He
sure we're seeing it
legitimately
right.
makes my I've held for heavyweights guys kicking, tie shields and things like that. And let me tell you, they're thudding and it, knocks me back. But what my forearms don't hurt. But when this kid kicks, it hurts. It hurts. Especially right before a fight. Oh my
Damn.
God. I do not want to get kicked by one.
Is
of
he
those.
the type to be very focused and quiet before a fight, like just tunnel vision? Or does he just act like it's just another day in the office, very just talkative? Because it just interests me. It's like sports psychology almost on how fighters react to
I'm
certain
gonna let
things.
you have him on your podcast and let him talk about that.
I would love to have
No,
Mike
no,
Davis.
I bet he would.
Yeah.
You just gotta invite him. I'm saying like, but I'm gonna. That's to me, that's like a personal
we had
thing
him on
for
the
a fighter.
phone.
Yeah.
but,
You know what I'm
we gotta
saying?
Get him in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel that's a personal thing for a fighter. So like, I don't want to give away any
Oh,
they
yeah,
might
yeah,
call him
yeah.
a secret or Mike. Just
Sure.
you know me. I try to be as loosey goosey as I was back there because
You don't
that's
wanna
just
act
who
like
I
it's
was.
different.
I did. That's just me. But other fighters, I let them tell you if you want.
No,
just
yeah,
because
that's a
it's-
good point.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Didn't he say that he didn't really like prepare specifically for his opponent?
He
just
didn't
kinda
study film.
Yeah, he doesn't study
Yeah.
the that he's guy is going to fight. He just kind of prepares for what he is good at.
Yeah, that's what.
He's going to be a better version of what Rory McDonald really, really wanted to be. Like good everywhere.
That's scary as crap. That's
And if
That's
you
one
wanna-
of the best analogies
I mean, that's
I
just-
ever
that's
heard.
But think about it. Like
It's
Roy
perfect,
McDonald did
too.
everything. He
Yeah,
trained
yeah.
everything.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what he was
But
supposed
he's
to be the
going
next
to-
GSP.
Yeah, he's going to be a better version of what Rory McDonald really was supposed to be. Like not saying Rory McDonald's awesome. He's phenomenal.
He's
One
a
of the
Bellator
greatest.
champion right now.
One of the greatest.
Just won the
I'm not
strap.
taking anything away. I just have more
Wow.
confidence in Mike Davis becoming the overall. You don't want to wrestle with him. You don't want to go to jiu-jitsu with him, on the ground. You don't really want to strike with him. So what are we going to do with him? It's
Yeah, it's almost like make them prepare for you by you being the best
Yeah.
at everything.
Yeah.
You don't have to prepare for your opponent if you be the best at everything.
and that's not to mention the kid has just freakish power.
And
Okay?
athleticism. He's
Yes,
an
and
athlete. He's an athlete.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the first time I rolled with him, he did like 2 flips over my head.
Yeah, it's not
And then
like
I was like looking at Coach going, well, I don't know where he went. So
like he has athleticism where he can play other sports. That's what's scary because I see him. It's like, okay, if he can run this long, he's this strong. That's not just someone who is just great at fighting, so he's just tough. No, he's an athlete and he's tough and he's great at fighting.
And one of the most underrated things about fighting, we're talking about, wrestle, all that stuff. Probably maybe the most underrated thing about the fight game and fighters is a motor and is, getting
Mentality.
tired. And that's like, to me, Connor, he's our favorite. I love him. But he
Oh,
does have a
conditioning? Yeah,
gas
yeah.
problem. He does. That's his weakness, I think. You take Connor, go deep. You can fight with him. Anyone can fight with him. That's why Connor gets people out in the first, second round. Mike Davis has just got a motor for days.
Oh.
He'll just run around this
That's
gym for
scary.
days. Just,
Yeah, he goes.
He don't stop.
I mean, and he boxes, he'll go 10 rounds with pro boxers. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. He'll do, a lot of MMA guys go back and forth with pro boxers sparring to work hands. But I mean, he'll go and he'll be right there with them. Kid's no joke in every aspect of the game. He'll roll with black belts and be just fine. And like I'm talking about high level black belts and be just fine. You know what I mean? At whether it's gi, whether it's no gi.
I love this. This
You know
is
what I mean?
incredible.
He's awesome.
I
He's
don't
great.
ever want to look past a certain opponent, certain event. So I'm not asking Mike to look past this and look into the UFC. So I'll do that for him. I just want to say, that's almost like a dream come true is for us to be able to be like, just support Mike in the UFC. Like if he's in there, it's like the Locked In crew is doing a live podcast here at the UFC Las Vegas, Nevada. Like that's what my goal is. Yeah. And it's like, that's our boy right there. This guy's been a beast in Daytona. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, I spent like $26 on the shirt, so he is definitely flying us out to Vegas, right? That's like
I gotta get that American.
I bought a shirt. I get to go. That's how it works, right?
He's such a cool guy too, and I think that's what everyone's like. Yeah, he's a great fighter, but he's like the nicest guy. We both get our haircuts at Wicked Cuts.
All right, so we went Chris Mixon, we got Mike, we got one more fighter, then we got so many UFC fights we want to talk about, then we got a couple little diamond secret questions for John. Let's talk about Taylor White,
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The next big thing.
I was about to say that.
Brock
Next big
Lesnar.
thing.
She has a fight coming up, correct?
She does the February 10th. From everything is a go as of what I understand right now.
Tallahassee?
No,
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
Combat.
At the combat night with Mitchell Chamali's combat night, and who
Okay.
was just part of Clash of the Titans.
Yes.
So
Yes.
she's back on that, which is awesome. And I believe it's at Mavericks. If it's in Jacksonville, I believe it's at Mavericks, on in the landing, right above.
And she has a opponent.
From right now, I understand
locked in.
everything is good to go for February 10th with the opponent and everything.
That was so aggravating, and I'm sure I can't speak for her because I know she's extremely aggravated, but that was so disappointing. We go there, and like that's what I was looking forward to most. I'm like, let's go. And the next big thing, and it's like you get someone out of Puerto Rico and like just all the arrangements that took place to make it happen, and it didn't happen. I just can't imagine like the fire that lit under her now. It's just scary.
yeah, absolutely. Every time it gets put off a little bit more for a fighter, you definitely build build off of everything that you started working on. But it's simple. That's the fight game.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. We talked to Ando about it. We've been talking to Ando. We had the live podcast with him. That's the fight game.
That is it.
It's fighters will pull out, injuries happen, all kinds of madness, craziness. It's a fight game. So every fight is almost like a blessing.
Can
Like,
I create like a proposal for a rule? It's like, what if
You're changing the rules now. I love it.
Yeah, it's like not if if somebody breaks their leg. No, I don't expect them to fight. So okay, this doesn't apply to that. But if it's somebody who's like, yeah, I don't want to fight, that should count as a win for Taylor.
I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't
because
want the win.
Yeah.
That would stop. No,
You're
but
not
that
gonna
would
get-
stop people from pulling out because if you're like, oh, I don't want to fight this guy, it could hurt my record
Because a lot
because
of people will never pull out. Dun, dun, dun.
But this record
see what you're saying.
can affect them. Like, oh, I'm 5-0. I don't want to be 5-1, but
gonna
it
tell
can
you,
hurt them.
I understand what you're saying, but with the way that would work out to me and the mentality of what I've seen so far is that they're more worried about the paycheck. So if they're pulling out and giving up a paycheck, then that damn one loss ain't going to mean that too much more because they're already losing their paycheck.
Yeah, but on an amateur level, you're not getting
On
paid.
an amateur, no.
So
but
that's my
ultimately,
point.
what happens when you can be 1-19 and turn pro?
That's a good point. It's just like if
I mean,
a
it
basketball
depends
team
on the
doesn't
state
show
on the
up,
state
that's a
commissions.
loss.
I get what you're saying, but it's amateur. No one's getting paid. If the person doesn't step in the ring
Yeah, they just-
Yeah.
and not get their health, worry about their health, then what are you gonna do?
And yeah,
I mean,
for one, I
it's
think
a-
a respectable fighter is not going to want to take that win. Like 1-0, the
Without
number
1-0 without stepping in the cage,
Yeah, it's just
you don't want that.
That's how
That's
you know
like
you're
the-
just tough. People are scared of you.
And to me, like it's not even Taylor doesn't have to go 18-0 as an amateur to turn pro and become big. She will have a rocket on her. Like it's going to happen.
Yeah.
She needs to go dominate, do what she does, how she trains, win a couple fights, and then it'll happen naturally. Like
No,
you
I
don't
believe
need
all
like
that's
a fake
true.
win.
Yeah, I believe all that's true. I just feel like if there's a punishment, if you do this, I don't know if that would just stop some of the fighters of doing it. If there was like
Man, you have you got in the amateur level. I don't know. I mean, I guess every gym I've ever been at doesn't have that problem that I've
we'll pause.
Yep.
Okay.
that doesn't our gym doesn't have that problem. If we pull out, it's because of a legit injury. You know what I mean? It's never we're healthy and we
That's
just
why I
don't
said
want to fight. If you want, if you know what I mean, it's never that. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So, but you have a lot of guys. I mean, it's a hard thing to do, bro. It's you got to everybody who steps across from you got to respect because they actually made it into the ring.
Yeah.
They actually made it into the cage. So
completely
you
agree.
have a lot of. I hate to say it. I really hate saying this, but there's a lot of pretenders, bro. There's
Yeah.
you got a lot of guys that do it for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
They think they're tough, and then when it comes down to it, they can't perform in front of people.
They've watched too much UFC
Or
and they're like,
they
it's
can't
not that
perform
hard.
in front of people when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
They're embarrassed to get in the ring to fight because they're going to let somebody down. You know what I mean? Or they were doing it because girls like to be they're a fighter. Not saying you ladies like to do that. I'm just saying that's the
No,
mentality
it's
of
true
men.
though. Yeah, it's
well,
true.
I'm just saying there's mentality of men that think, okay, girls are going to like me more if I say I'm a fighter. Okay, so you do this stuff for that, but when it comes down to fight, oh, I'm injured. Oh, I'm this. It's the truth. It happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, are you really?
Are you really injured or are you just not really, you've done this 3 or 4 times, but, the more they do it, the more they get a reputation for it, and you kind of know. But there's a lot like that. And then there's some that train their butt off, man, and they get to that moment, and they're like,
Yeah.
No,
Deer headlights.
You're a practice player.
they're a gym guy. They're a gym rat. I think, honestly, a little bit of me is a gym rat as far as
Really?
a gym guy. I perform extremely well in our gym. I could do a lot of different things, but
because you're comfortable, and I think
Yeah,
when a fighter is that comfortable, it shows how much confidence they have, and that relates to what they can do.
yes.
So that's what's scary.
Yeah, and but like I've only performed extremely well in the ring, I would say a few times, and it's just it just took me a while to get the how do I want to say the lather going, but
Getting adjusted.
yeah,
and
getting comfortable, getting it to where every time I step in there, it's cool. It's like
Loosey
to
goosey.
look like Chris Mixon and Mike Davis, right? To just be calm, cool, collected. Your face never changes.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you just
yeah.
go to work.
No, that's
Yeah.
true. You
You
get
know, you do-
butterflies.
you
You
do.
get nervous. You get tense.
Keemon Evans. Just
Congrats
fought.
to him, by the way.
Yeah, he just
That
fought,
guy's
got a W.
beast.
Good job. Yes, he's the same way. And even somebody in the crowd this time said it. They're like, man, his face never changes. I was like, it never changes when I box him either. It never changes whenever we do it. I mean, just they're all of it. Every one of our fighters, when you're finally comfortable and you see them hit their stride, they're cool, they're calm, they're collected, and they go to work. And it's just what it is. Because what's our saying at the gym? We always say, train hard, fight easy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you should do. If you know what you're doing and you're doing right. It shouldn't be easy, but it should look easy.
I'll bring
You know
that
what I
back to
mean?
Connor because that's where I think he does best. It could be the biggest fight in the world, and he's calm.
Mm-hmm.
And he finds his rhythm right away. He just goes right at you, and he's calm.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard to do.
It is.
Couple things you were saying about like with the gym and Pete White's gym, and I was gonna on the Facebook. There's like the little Pete White secret code, Pete White section, and I was gonna write something on it, and it was like gonna be like really sappy, kind of like really nice. I thought, but like I will just say it on the podcast now and that. So Max and I did so much promotional work for Clash of the Titans. We saw so many fighters, managers, everyone in the game, right? Promoters, just so many different. We went to different boxing gyms in Orlando. We were all over the place. We did so much promotional work for it. Big up to Anthony over there, Undisputed. Everyone had nothing but the utmost greatest things to say about Pete White in the gym. Everything was just about respect. The word kept on coming around like honor, best guy you can meet. And we get to say it's like, yeah, we're like Pete's guys. Like that's what
We're family.
Like that was our first thing. Our lead.
That's
It's
our
like,
fam.
oh,
Exactly,
that's Max. I'm
exactly.
Dave.
Family. You guys are family for sure.
We're good looking. We got decent hair, but we're friends with Pete. Like, oh, come on, you guys. It's like everybody had nothing but the most like earnest respect for Pete, and it was just like so cool. It's like, wow, like that's just game changing. To me.
Can I
thought it
jump
was
on that
awesome.
real quick?
Jump in, take it.
I
seriously.
don't know. I'm sure you know this because we did a live podcast together. But Pete when I used to do mixed martial arts and I did wrestling, and he used to be my boxing coach. And I'm like, God, I like this. Now, no offense to the head coaches over there. I love everyone that coached me. But I'm like, that's my favorite coach. Like, there's something about him. It's like the way he's hitting the mitts. He's like, okay, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. Like, I love how he did the 1, 1 after everything. And it was just like the little things. I felt like I was getting so much better. I wanted to become a boxer than I did a UFC fighter. And growing up, I always liked MMA better. But I'm like, why am I liking this so much? And it's like because of Coach Pete. And then I see him years later. I'm like, Coach, I haven't hit the mitts in a while. Can I just hit the mitts one time? That's how I started getting reconnected with him again. He's like, oh, of course. And I'm like, this guy has not changed ever since I was young. I still feel that same feeling. That's just incredible.
Yes. I walked in the gym, and I haven't left.
Yeah, it's like
It's really what it was. I walked in one day. I saw how hard they worked. And I was like, this is where I want to be. I took one class, and I actually took I took the class because I wasn't nearly as I am now as far as the knowledge base and everything like that. I got a good foundation from up in South Carolina with my boy Duke, and then I came down here, and he took me to a whole nother level with the game, with the knowledge, with my ability, and everything like that. But he also didn't try to make me fight a certain way, which I loved. He just went with me. He used what I did, and he just made it better. He fixed some things. He changed some things here and there, which is fine. I had no problem with that. But he used what I had and made me better from that point on, and then taught me everything else that I wanted to know about anything that I ever asked. He never looked at me like, shut up, kid. You know
No,
what I mean?
he-
He was like,
he
he
loves
just
it.
answers a question. And he goes, and he tells you, and I'll learn all day
Do
long.
you remember? I was at the Armory actually. Rich Crunkleton is where Pete was at. He
Never
was the
met him.
boxing coach. Well, he fought in the UFC.
Yes,
Rich
I know who he is,
Crunkleton.
but
Yeah.
I never met him.
And he was just like, they had jiu-jitsu with gi. I never liked gi. I'm like, if I want to fight, I'm not going to do gi. So I always never earned my way up with the belts, but I felt like I was comfortable anywhere who I grappled with. But I always would be like, okay, I'm just going to skip that, and I want to go to Coach Pete. Or like, I'll stay just so I can go to Coach Pete. Like, that's how it was. And
Yeah.
I was like, that is
Yeah.
just incredible. And then I found out he had his own gym. I'm like, and he was now so MMA. Before he was just boxing. I'm like, that's just a dream come
Yeah.
true.
Once we got together and connected, I got to the point where I started realizing my fight career was going to end abruptly before it probably ever really got going fully because it just I had too many injuries beforehand. I tore my ACL in basketball early in life, broken feet from taekwondo, tore my ankles up in college the second time.
Your legs.
Just all of it, just the grinding on the basketball court for so many years, just running. I mean, constant shin splints, all that kind of stuff. Then I started taking kicks to the leg in MMA and everything like that. And my knee just went to crap. But so I knew I was gonna eventually die. As much as she would tell you that I didn't want to admit it, and I would never ever say that, I knew in the back of my head. So one day I walked up to Pete and I was like, I want you to teach me how to train people. Like, I want to learn how to do mitts. I want to learn everything about it. And he looked at me and goes, I thought you might say that. And then from there, it was like
It's a movie.
Yeah, best
This is
story.
a movie.
You know, it was cool. He's like, I thought
Documentary
you
professor,
might
Coach
say. He
Pete.
just kind of knows. He knows what you're thinking. He knows.
Sure.
You know, he's just that guy, and it really was cool. It was it's been a blessing for sure. It's like I've definitely been blessed. I've been there for however many years. That I guess what 3 now? 3. Been there for 3. So. Oh, I'm sorry, guys, but yeah, I've been there for 3, and it's just amazing. It's just he's awesome. He's truly been a great mentor in the boxing game. Introduced me to so many people. Like you said, knows everybody.
Yeah.
Knows everybody. And they all
Holy
have
crap.
nice things to say.
The
He
best.
just knows everybody.
The
I mean,
best.
I've been so many different places already. I mean, he lets me expand my knowledge, and when I have something to say, he lets me say it. You know, to the pro fighters, to the guys.
Communication.
He does. He lets me do it. He trusts in what I'm seeing, and it means the world to me for it because it lets me know that I'm legitimately getting better at what I want to do and what I'm doing.
So you see yourself as you're already a coach, but your goal is to elevate others and have an impact on the fighters. Not only just, doesn't even seem just like on the inside the ring, outside of the octagon. It just seems like on a personal level as well.
Anyone who wants to learn and you want to give me, 100% effort, I'm down. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
That's all I want.
That's
I just want
awesome.
you, if you want, I'm going to work really hard for you.
Yeah.
You know, and teaching you. So if all I ask is that you just give it back to me, and we're going to have an unbelievable, time doing it. You're going to have fun. You're going to learn stuff, and I just love it. And that's what I love about it. You know what I mean? I love changing people's lives for the positive. Like my buddy Taylor Blasco. Here's a cool little story for you guys real quick. Real quick. Sorry.
Blasco was a wrestling coach.
Take your time, no worries.
No. My buddy Taylor Blasco, he I met him through comic books, so let's go back to the Batman stuff and all that. So he owned a store called Nerdtropolis up in Ormond, right off of 95 and US 1 on that exit right there. Kind of remember that
Where like the racetrack is now?
just south of it.
Oh, okay, just south. Okay.
Yeah, that's south. Just south of it, there's a little shopping center right there.
Yep,
and everything
yep,
like that.
yep.
He's in there, Nerdtropolis. So I was like,
Destination Daytona.
look south of
okay.
it, south of the racetrack right there. It's right before the Annie Oakley bar or whatever that is right there, or whatever it is, the little thing right there right before the racetrack.
Somehow every conversation John has something like by a bar. It's
Yeah, kind of diagonal from McDonald's to Chevron. All right, we're getting the idea. Well, the shopping center.
we know the exact
Tattoo.
address.
Shamrock Tattoo.
Yes, that's what my friend got.
That's
at that
right
time.
near my
so
office.
Yeah,
over
the
there,
back
over
door.
there.
I work right there.
Okay, so right in that area. Those two
Okay, we're
shopping
with
centers
you
that are
now.
right next to each other in that area.
Yes.
All right, so there we go. Finally figured it out. There we go. So he owned Nerdtropolis, and I walked in there, and I was like, all right. And I'd always come in there with my gear on because I would be on my way to the gym. Right, I was like, I'm gonna go grab my comics and go to the gym. That's what I'm gonna do. So I got a subscription with them.
Sounds like a good life.
It wasn't bad for me. You know what I mean? I had a subscription with him, so I would go there, and every once in a while. So finally one day he sat across the table. He goes, "Nah, I gotta ask, man." He's like, "Do you do what you wear, or do you just wear it?" and I'm looking across, and this kid is cool. This kid he's 16 when I met him. He's cool. He's cool as hell. He's kind of like, I'm gonna tell your life story right now, Taylor, and you don't even know that I'm telling it. Because he's in boot camp right now. He's gonna put his service into the country, and then he's gonna hopefully be a pararescue.
That's
so
awesome.
he's
I
incredible.
appreciate his service.
But you got to
cool.
realize where he came from. This is funny. This is the part that I love about it. Is I walk in. This is a kid that wore he wore stuff that to where you couldn't see his body shape. Do you know what I mean? So he's a little bit chunky.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And he looked at me, and he's got a little kind of, but you could tell at one point he was probably in kind of athletic, in a sense.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Happens to us all.
Right. So, but he's only 16, and I looked at him. I was like,
Yeah.
"Man, how old are you?" He's like, "I'm 16, bro." I was like, "Shouldn't you be at school?" And he's like, "Oh no, man, I dropped out. I opened up this business and everything like that." I was like, "Opened it up on his own. Got a silent partner. Opened up his whole business on his own." So, comes to me, he goes, "How would you feel about teaching me?" I was like, "What do you want to learn? Do you want to learn boxing, or do you want to learn kickboxing?" He's like, "No, I want to learn definitely boxing, but then kickboxing and maybe learn some jiu-jitsu and stuff like that at the end." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Well, when it comes to jiu-jitsu, we'll move to the gym." I was like, "Before that, I'll take you on and we'll learn some stuff." And he goes, "Okay." He goes, "Would you do it for free subscription?" I was like, Absolutely, I'll do it for free comics. So I
Oh,
did it for free. He said, let me have I had, I was a kid in a candy store, bro. He's like, you can have any comics you want, for subscription for all of them. I don't care. He's like, just how many times a week
That
we're
is
going to do
awesome.
it. I was like, we're going to do it 4 times a week, an hour, 15 hour, hour and a half, during the time that we do it. He goes, okay.
Wow.
So he gives me I have this huge collection getting started because of it and all that. So it's great. So eventually what comes down to it is he loves it. He falls in love with it. Loves kicking and everything like that. Turns into wants to learn more kickboxing than anything else. So he loves it. Works really hard. Decides to get on a diet. So he gets on a diet.
Good.
And like I said, he's the type of kid that wore clothing that you couldn't really I never ever saw what he looked
Him.
like. Really. You know what I mean? And just he was wearing a big baggy shorts, things like this.
Yeah.
Gets to it and goes, ends up losing 90 pounds.
Whoa.
90 pounds. He was over 200 at one point, and he gets down to 135.
Off of what you're doing with him.
Off of what I'm doing and his diet. Now the diet, the big part is the diet. Like,
The diet's
but,
huge.
But
yes.
I got him from being not really doing anything besides playing hockey every once in a while, and he was actually very good at hockey.
It changed his life.
But to doing that, to doing essentially kickboxing, boxing, and all that, get on a
You
diet,
truly are the professor.
lose 90 pounds, and gets the idea of like, I'm gonna go on a ketogenic diet. I'm gonna lose 90 pounds. He sticks to it, does all that, decides, looks at me, and goes, I want to sell my business. Sells his Nerdtropolis, comes out better, like even I think, or better what he started. Great, he comes out great. 16-year-old kid started that, by the way, and he's 18 when he shuts it down.
Yeah.
Decides to say, he goes, I'm going to travel the country to a couple family members that I have, and I'm going to visit different gyms to learn more martial arts. I said, that's fantastic, bro. He goes, and eventually I'm going to try and move out to the, I think he was going to move out to Colorado or move out to California and ultimately stay out there is what he was going to do. But instead, he moves to Nebraska, meets up with his longtime friend, and starts to do training out there and stuff like that, gets into more things and decides that he wants to finish high school, which he goes back, gets his degree, finishes it, then goes straight to college, starts classes there, and then decides now he wants to be, serve our country and be a pararescue. So he goes from literally high school dropout at 16, out of shape, to all that. I'm just like, dude, that's amazing.
That
So
is
that's
incredible.
fantastic.
Wow.
Fantastic.
My dad owned a comic book store, by the way, too.
Yeah.
So I have growing up as a kid, I had a whole stash. My favorite one was Marvel versus DC.
See,
I
I
love
I
it.
can't believe
I
you
just
haven't
loved it.
brought this up. Like I was gonna say it, but it was like it's not my
I
story to
loved it.
say.
And my dad,
Yeah.
so growing up, I knew every character, and now people go to the movies and it's like, oh, I love Iron Man. It's like, but I know who Iron Man was before the movie. It's because I grew up with my dad.
Yeah,
so.
Iron Man was like the 57th best character.
He
in
was
the
always
Marvel universe.
awesome, but I was so into Thor and Hulk, and I still am. But I'm just
I was-
Iron Man now is my
A
favorite.
damn Robert
I was
Downey
X-Men
Jr.
all day and Silver
Oh, yeah.
Surfer. Silver
Yeah,
Surfer
I
was
love
my
they
dog.
did
Colossus.
So wrong with
Oh,
that.
he's
Colossus was my
Oh
man.
my gosh,
Terrible.
he's like, oh, I can't do anything. I can't walk without my surfboard. I'm
No,
like,
that's not the way
Remember
it
the
works.
X-Men
I know.
game, in the mall, you hit the button, that thing. Yes. And Colossus was like,
Oh, I love Colossus.
Yeah, you just get that
I was the only one.
special button.
The one I was upset about was they didn't have Gambit in there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I want a Gambit.
He was one of the
He
most
was
underrated
good, too.
characters
Yeah.
ever. With
I
the
love
the
yeah.
cards.
I love it. You know that her man crush Channing Tatum is supposed to be playing him in the movie.
Who?
Channing Tatum.
It's supposed to play who?
Gambit.
Gambit.
Oh.
Standalone movie.
That would be pretty epic.
I hope it's good. That's all I'm saying.
Gonna have a good accent.
I have no idea. It's got to be Cajun. So
And
that's a
they
good
Yeah,
question.
yeah, he's definitely
Leonardo
a little-
DiCaprio is supposed to play Joker. That's what
I'm down. I'm down. Leo, you
Leo's
can't
the
go
goat.
wrong with Leo.
Yeah.
It's like Tom Hanks.
That's what everybody says.
Denzel. Tom Hanks, Denzel, and Leo.
Yeah,
Does
never.
everything go wrong?
Every movie they're in it.
Does it ever go wrong?
I'm just never gonna travel with Tom
Coach,
Hanks.
can we get a couple?
Good one.
I just want your opinions on a couple things.
Wait, I got one more before that. Can
Go
I
ahead.
jump in?
Yeah,
I got
go
one
ahead.
more question about Pete White's gym, about the fighters, and then we got 5 UFC fights, and
Go
then
ahead,
we
bro.
got to get into Khabib and Tony because we'll talk about
Yeah,
that
go
for
ahead,
2
bro.
straight hours. Okay.
This may be the longest episode locked in history, but for a good
Oh, yeah.
reason.
Yeah, I'm just-
Let's go.
It's 3:30 a.m. right now.
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
When are y'all
last-
gonna have to give me a ride home?
Last question is, so we talked about Chris Mixon, talked about Mike Davis, we talked about Taylor Wright. Ando was our first guy. He's my buddy.
Yes,
Love
sir.
Ando.
Let's go back to Taylor for 2 seconds. She literally is going to be the next, she will be the biggest prospect out of Florida for a female at some point in the next. That's not locked in, but that's just the fact.
100%
That's a fact.
agree. Yeah,
Yeah,
That's a
that's
fact.
a
She's
good
gonna
one.
be.
she's got a rocket
Yeah,
attached to her.
absolutely.
It's coming.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm talking
I know,
about. You
demons-
have like
I know.
someone that's going to be better than Roy McDonald, which I truly believe. Someone that's going to be the next best thing. I truly believe. Chris Mixon, who
Pete Weiss Jim,
idolized
y'all. You
and
gotta get out
imitated his
there.
game off Conor McGregor. It's like now let's talk about Anderson, Superman, Hutchinson.
No.
It's like
We had so we talked about everyone. Who's one guy in the gym that Max and I haven't really talked about? And I know like a negative. Just there's so many great kids in there. There's great guys in there. There's so many legit awesome
question.
people. Yeah, it's just. And I know that I hope this don't put pressure on you or anything like that. But just who's someone else that we haven't really maybe hit on? It's like, hey, you guys, you know, Mike's awesome, Chris is awesome. Tell we know that, but like, who's another guy in the gym? I thought Egner was awesome at Clash. I liked his style a lot, but just, maybe him or just someone else in the gym that, throw out a name, shout out love, Locked In Podcast. We're doing big things.
You named a great one. Edgar is a worker.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
I've had some wars in there with him, and that little son of a gun, it can take a punch and he will give it back to you with double the force if he can. Like he's not reserved in any way about punching you hard. He's gonna do it.
Love it.
And he has a chin for days. Like it's just he's a tough kid. Super hard worker. Do anything you say. Another one as far as being coachable is extremely coachable. He's also he works a full-time job as well, and he's trying to build his amateur career. But
That's tough.
he really. Him and Coach Pete do great work together. I work with them a lot as well, but like they do great work together. Like Pete's better at the inside game than I am with boxing. He's better at understanding it because as a fighter, I'm long and rangy.
oh, of course.
So
that
like
makes
so
sense.
that's why with Chris it works well with me telling him things because it's
similar in body.
you know what I mean. But with
frame.
Edgar, I can definitely help him with stuff. I help him get onto the inside from longer range when I work together and stuff with him. But him and Pete have a great relationship, and he really listens well. And he listens very well to Pete. It's like fighters respond to certain people certain ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can honestly say I love the way Coach Pete always coached me. I loved it. Shelby Creech was another one that I loved the way he coached me in an individual sport. I was my Taekwondo coach at one point along with Jeff Miller. Those guys talk to me in a very good way too. And Pete is right there with them. And if not,
That's
even
incredible.
better. Like
That's awesome.
He's fantastic to listen to in the corner. You know what I mean? He really gets you to calm down. He knows there's steps. He's Greg Jackson and any other coach that you want. You know what I mean? In there talking to you.
Greg Jackson
Wow.
is my favorite. Besides Coach Pete, obviously, and you guys, like as far as coaching, I just feel like Greg Jackson is like he doesn't look at it as everybody else. Like he doesn't look at it as just like a fight. He looks at it as like, just like a chess match. And he's like, what can we do to take away your strengths and implement our game plan? That's why I love Greg Jackson.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. And he just has a cool demeanor. He talks to each of his fighters a certain way.
Yeah,
Because he understands
that's
it.
a good coach.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he understands adapting to each person's different. And like, with Mike, with Anderson, with Kimon, with everyone, he has a different way to speak to you.
Yeah.
But he knows the right way to do it. And that's the best part.
That might be the most underrated skill in life.
And
Like
that's-
literally,
communication.
like, that's the trick that I'm learning right now.
Yeah.
It's like I can do that with Chris. I
I'm-
can literally say I don't need any help, and I can do that with Chris.
Yeah.
I need help. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I'm not
no,
knocking
but
any
you
of
just
that.
have a
I need
relationship
help.
with Chris.
I always want Pete next to me when that happens. But if I have to, I'm extremely comfortable because I know when I talk to him, it's gonna listen. My little cousin. Oh, yeah. Like there's 3 in the gym that we need to look out for, and I got you now. But I'm learning right now that that's one of the biggest, like you said, underrated things, but one of the best things that you could learn as a trainer and coach. And just, it's a life skill.
Yeah.
How do you deal with people? How are you going to deal with this fighter when it's an emotional standpoint for him? He could think he's winning. He could think he's losing. And you have to be, adaptable to what that emotion is between rounds.
And impactful. You have to make an impact.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like sometimes it's just getting them to breathe. They're doing fine.
Just
you don't need to
calm,
say anything to them.
breathe.
Just
Yeah.
breathe.
Yeah.
Just breathe. Let's get that heart rate down, and then do fine. You're doing fine. Continue what you were doing.
Yeah.
You got to be
Nothing else.
Alfred.
You gotta be exactly. You gotta be Alfred.
Nice.
You gotta be able to talk to
line
Batman
of that
any way you need
episode
to.
right there.
Producer.
Whatever the superhero needs, you gotta talk to him. You're right. You're exactly right.
I like it.
You're Everyone's trying to be an Alfred. You know what I mean? When you're in there talking to one of your fighters.
This is probably the best episode.
Sean, the one-line
time.
punch jokes, that's my thing. If you take it, I'm useless to the
Right now, I'm
podcast.
sorry, Dave, you have a microphone in your hand with the stand attached to it. What are you doing here?
I'm so excited.
Make up your mind.
I'm going back and forth. I could talk about this for
I know, that's what I said.
days.
But
I can. And we
So,
haven't even got into
I
Khabib.
I want to get into the Khabib. So, is there anyone else? that
Yes,
you-
there's two more.
Yeah, go right
we
ahead.
already know about King.
Yeah.
King, but I want to say him again. He's doing excellent.
Big
He's
things.
he's 5-0-1 right now, so he's fantastic. You know, that one came from a really tough fight up in Philly. He came in, you know, he was the out of town guy, and he put on a hell of a performance up there and came out a draw. You know, it is what it is, but it's tough
He
going
is
out of
a
state
beast.
and going up there against another prospect and putting on a show and getting a draw is an
Yeah.
amazing thing. But he's 5-0 right now. He's awesome. I love sparring him. It's because I'm the short guy then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he talked
But
about length,
he's definitely got talent, man. He needs to definitely continue on what he's doing. He's got extreme talent. He's a good boxer, and he's got cardio. You want to talk about gas tank? Kid's got cardio for days. I'm talking about for
Really?
days. I'm talking about like 12 rounds, 15 rounds, whatever.
Man, that's awesome.
3-minute rounds,
Yeah,
whatever.
that's so
He
huge
plays
factor.
basketball and runs all the time. Like it's his job. Like he runs and plays basketball all day long. Like when he needs to.
The address, come over here. We need to play a game.
Oh,
Do a
yeah.
little game.
I'm telling you this right now, Kimon. You still don't have that much of an offensive game, bro.
Damn, so
Nah,
move
you know.
with them.
but he's got a gas tank. But the next one I'm a shout out is actually one of my family members. He's my second cousin.
Professor Junior?
Nah, his name's Dylan Radford. He's a surfer guy. He actually most Radfords know how to surf. I don't
One
know
of the
how to
best
surf.
names in the history of life, Dylan.
Dylan, there you go. Dylan Radford. He is. He started with me too in private lessons, and I started with him out of my garage for a little while, and developed him. He worked with Taylor sometimes and stuff like that. He works with Taylor White now.
Yeah, I'm about to say, is
constantly.
he the little kid who
He's
runs around the building with her?
Yes. No. Dylan is her sparring partner at our gym. Like they work together great. They do
Yeah.
a lot of kickboxing together. Dylan's a kickboxer.
Okay.
Dylan is our sole.
Okay, yeah.
Dylan is our sole only, like that's all he does is kickbox. He's not going to go to the he's not going to learn how to go to the ground, but when he has a fight, he only wants kickboxing fights. And that's fine. That's great. He's fantastic.
Yeah, that's
he's
awesome.
he's one of
Does he got something coming up?
we're working on it. We're going to
Okay,
get him
cool.
ready. We're going to get him ready. He's fantastic. His kicks are absolutely beautiful. And I'm very critical about kicking. I like to
Good thing.
very, very critical about kicking. He has beautiful, beautiful kicks. His left leg switch kick power is awesome. His speed is fast. The only kick, we're working on right now is the spinning back kick. But every other kick, his question mark kick, inside legs, teep, everything on timing, rainbow roundhouse. I mean, there's all these different ones that we could get into calling bullcrap on names, and everybody has their own name for it. You know what I mean? But he has fantastic, fantastic kicks, and his hands are technically sound, and it's a great mixture of boxing, with my style of kicking, and a little bit of a Muay Thai style in there as well, because he watches a lot of videos. We work on a lot of things. He's going to be awesome. If he wants to do something with it in kickboxing,
That's awesome.
he's going to be. He'll be able to.
Teeps are huge. Like I think they play a pivotal, especially in kickboxing.
Mhm.
It's
just like a jab.
I'm not trying to brag here, but 2-0 in Muay Thai, and I actually fought the guy that I fought. I was 2-0. I fought the same guy twice, but I was like, okay, let me just train and let me fight this guy. I'm like, oh, this guy looks familiar. I'm like, well, I fought him a couple years ago. So I fought him, and one of the most annoying things he threw at me the whole fight was the teep. Every time, one of them caught me straight in the face, and I had like a little bruise. But I was like, God, why doesn't people use that more often?
An underrated thing is when you rock somebody to the head. Like in Muay Thai, a lot of finishes. Like if you go back and look at Thai fights in the stadium and everything like that, you'll see somebody get rocked and they'll get a standing 8 count or whatever like that, or they'll fall down and you'll see them get rocked. They'll get up. I would say a lot of older school Muay Thai styles, they'll go straight for a teep to the face. It's just a
Anderson
hard
Silva? Anderson
teep right to the face.
Silva?
Well, that was a front kick.
Yeah.
But I mean, like a full-on power teep to the face, put your whole foot here, mush your foot, and it just puts you out. And that's what you're not waiting for, because you think somebody's going to come in blasting you with hands or throw a regular roundhouse kick, and all of a sudden something just bang right in your face. It can put you out. A teep is deadly, but it also is range, just like a jab.
Yeah.
And it works a lot. You know what I mean? And it keeps distance. It keeps you there. But he can throw any of those kicks, and he's fantastic. And
That's awesome.
I'm really
from the best.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward for him and his next fight. But if he wants to do something with it,
Yeah.
and go somewhere with kickboxing, he definitely could.
That's awesome.
But he has another kid, great head on his shoulders, going to school full time, works full time, just fantastic
That's
kid.
awesome. That's
Pete
awesome.
White Gym, Port Orange, Florida, guys.
That was a great question, by the way.
Thank you. I'm.
Can I just make the argument now? Can I do it?
Let's go.
Everyone
Let's
wait.
go.
Okay,
Let's
we're-
go. Let's go.
Listen,
We're skipping
Tony
Romeo Rock
Ferguson.
Goldberg. Here we go.
Tony Ferguson versus Khabib.
It's happening.
Let me
UFC
attempt to say his last name.
223.
Nurmagomedov.
Nurga,
Nurmagomedov.
sure.
Not gonna work it here anymore.
Nurmagomedov.
Khabib.
Okay,
Just-
Khabib.
Khabib.
It's actually Habib, I think, but you don't even say
The
the K.
bear wrestler.
Yes.
The eagle has landed. You know
I
what I mean?
think
The eagle.
what he does is you're like 24, 25 and 0, absolutely amazing. And I think his wrestling is uncharted. I don't think it's anyone's close to his wrestling, and I think what he does is phenomenal. And if I was him, I would do the same thing. I'm not saying he's not a great fighter. I'm not saying he's not changing the game. Not taking that. I just want to make that clear before I make my argument.
I do. You just
So-
said everything why he's undefeated in
No.
the best. I love it.
Tito Ortiz was the same thing when he was fighting, though. He was the best wrestler, best ground and pound. Nobody could stop him. But when Chuck Liddell was able to stop that takedown, he was not the same Tito Ortiz. So my thing is this. Now, I don't think Tony Ferguson is Chuck Liddell, but I do think Tony Ferguson poses threats that Khabib hasn't faced. And the reason why I think Tony Ferguson will win, I'll explain, but I think I'm going to take it a step
How
further.
does he win?
I'll explain.
Okay.
But I think Khabib will get exposed, whether it's by Tony Ferguson or Conor McGregor. But I think once he gets, like Ronda Rousey, once she gets cracked, I think people will be able to solve the puzzle where it's not just like he beats everybody else but this guy. Like, I think he's the type of fighter where once he gets solved, if he doesn't make major adjustments to his game, that could be detrimental to his game. That's what I think. And the
Great point.
what I think
That's a
Tony
great point.
Ferguson's going to beat him is this.
Okay.
I think Tony Ferguson, one, has the mental strength that none of his opponents have had. Like, Tony Ferguson's not scared of Conor. He's not scared of Khabib. He's the guy that's great at mental warfare. Going into a fight, he truly believes he could beat anybody. His conditioning can go for days. He's not
Yeah,
going to get tired.
He's in Big Bear every camp. Like
Yeah,
he
he's
moves his camp.
not going to get
He's-
tired.
He's legit with that. He's
Yeah,
focused.
he
He's
won't
he's a
get
grinder.
tired, and he has the mental strength. He has the striking
You
advantage.
think Khabib will get tired?
We've only seen him on top. We've never seen him on the bottom, and we've never seen him rock besides one time, and that was Johnson,
Put
Michael
a
Johnson.
3-round beating on Edson Barbosa.
If-
I was
okay,
just
if
gonna
you
say-
beat the
said
crap out of someone-
mentality, Barbosa had one
Wait.
of the best mentalities I've ever seen for him just to hang on into that fight.
Okay, but Barbosa doesn't have the mental strength that Tony Ferguson does. And let me
No,
mention
mental
this.
strength, I think he's got more mental strength, maybe not physical strength. Mentally, Barbosa
He didn't
was
go into
amazing.
that. I can argue he didn't go in that fight thinking he was truly going to win. Tony Ferguson truly thinks he's going to win. He talks crap to Khabib. Like, he's not scared of him. Tony Ferguson also has the longest win streak right now in the UFC, I believe. He hasn't lost in years. So he's on a streak of his own that no one's talking about.
He has lost, though, right?
Just wait. Just wait. He also has great jiu-jitsu. Barbosa's not known for his ground
He's an
game.
Eddie Bravo black belt.
Yeah, he has great jiu-jitsu, and he's great off of his back, great at
He's a freak.
transitions.
He's
The
in
problem-
MMA. He's legit.
Yeah, the
He's a
problem I
legit
have with him is
jiu-jitsu threat.
he takes too much punishment, gets hit too much on the feet, and that's a problem Conor will give to him, but that's not a problem Khabib will give to him. His problem is getting taken down, obviously, but I think Tony Ferguson will be able to stop that and expose him.
So who's striking is better?
Tony. He's more versatile. He's awkward. He's not like traditional stance. He throws weird angles, weird kicks. I don't think he has the elite striking Barbosa, but he's awkward enough where it's unpredictable. He's just weird with it.
That was a great question.
Everybody,
He's
what's
unorthodox.
like Khabib wears everybody down, bullies him, and that's the same thing that RDS did to everybody. Do you remember that? RDS or RDA?
RDA.
Yeah, that's what he did to everybody. And Tony Ferguson was the first to go after him and put pressure on him.
Because that was a great point, and you had a great answer about like who's got better stand up, right? Basketball analogy. Shaquille O'Neal did one thing. He was humongous. You gave him the ball in the post. He was effing unstoppable.
You can't compare basketball to MMA, though.
My point is Khabib. That's all.
Because you don't get hit in the
just
chin
need
in
one
basketball.
thing.
Like, if Shaq gets hit in the chin, he would fall down,
Khabib's
too.
got way better stand up to me than Tony.
Whoa. Okay,
'Cause
how?
he
Where's
does-
your base? Where's your evidence?
My evidence is, for one, undefeated.
All his
and-
all his punishment's been on the ground.
no, he has to get them on the ground.
Okay, but you just said striking. I'm not talking about the ground.
They start. They say you already fight.
How is his
and they're
striking way
standing.
better?
He sets up striking with wrestling back with striking. He 50% gets the people on the ground by wrestling, and the other 50% is him knocking him down.
He doesn't knock anybody down.
No, he does knock
No,
people
he doesn't.
down.
He sets his strikes. I'll give you that. He sets up his takedowns with the strikes, but he's not knocking anybody down. He's not comfortable on the feet because his ground is so good, and that's why I said I don't blame him.
You
If
don't
I
think
was
he's
him, I would
comfortable on
do-
the feet?
Huh?
You don't think being 25-0 and he's comfortable on the feet?
Okay, but that's why I said he's great at setting up his takedowns with the strikes. But I don't think
That's being comfortable to me.
I don't think he's going to be comfortable once he gets kicked in the face, when someone's going after him. We've never seen everyone's so quick to be
So
like,
let me-
this
so-
guy is amazing, but we've never seen him in trouble.
So my only point to that is no one has ever backed him up. So what is going to change with Tony Ferguson? Why is Tony Ferguson going to back him up?
Because Tony Ferguson
This guy's
backs
not
people
gonna-
up. He
but
does that to people who
Michael
no one does
Johnson
it to.
made Khabib take 2 steps back for a half a second, and then he walked right forward through
Yeah,
another
Khabib
punch.
is a monster.
No, but I'm saying like he eats punches and he walks right forward. You can't just like that guy's going to run to the center of the ring at the very first, and he's not going to unless Tony cracks him like no one else has.
Connor to Jose
My-
right away.
My whole thing, not even like that. I'm talking about my whole thing. The reason why what I
Set the
said about
tone with a
Edson
strong
Barbosa and the Khabib fight, what I said had to happen is same thing I said for the Holly Holm Christina Cyborg fight. The only way Holm was going to win a 5-round decision and win it there is every time she cracked her with a straight left or something like that, that power had to be there to make Christina think about something, make Cyborg think.
Absolutely.
If that doesn't make you think, now whether it can put you out or not,
Yeah.
that's not what I'm saying. At some point, somebody can walk forward and catch one on the chin and go to sleep. But if it doesn't make you think, or you're like, Daniel Cormier hits me harder than that, you know.
That's why I think
all
Conor
I'm saying
McGregor
is
is definitely going to beat him, is because of
You
that
know me.
punch.
I think
I
Connor too,
understand
but
what you mean
not
in that
Tony.
one, but Tony is different. You're saying he's unorthodox. And these punches, to me, you haven't seen the one punch knockout power from Tony to
agreed.
be that stopping force.
How many times? I agree, but how many times have we seen Khabib hit? Truly hit. But let's talk about
a
it. I'm going
couple.
to say one tough time with Michael Johnson, he got rocked. Michael Johnson didn't follow it up, and I would say that's an error on his part.
No, he followed it up. Homeboy just decided to walk 2 steps back and then walk right forward again.
So okay, but so the couple times he has been hit, he has been rocked.
You know,
He doesn't get hit a lot. So
He's
that's what I'm
been
saying.
hit.
How can
No,
you
no,
judge
no.
someone who hasn't been tested?
But what I'm saying is he's been cracked by guys that have great. I don't want to say great. Let's just say he's been hit by guys that have good enough power to do some type of damage on those clean hits because they're clean
Okay.
when he gets tagged.
Like what elevated John Jones for me is like, okay, he was running through people. Let's see what he does under pressure. Let's see what he does on an overall game. When Vitor Belfort got him in a nasty armbar, I believe it was, he got out of it. He could have tapped, but he didn't. I'm like, okay,
That's like steroid Vitor Belfort too.
yeah, exactly.
So does
I'm
that
like,
mean
okay, he has a
the only
heart
way
of-
he combated
I've
that
seen
was
him-
with steroids?
Oh, come on.
Well,
now.
I'm just saying.
He has the heart of a champion. Like I've seen him tested. I just think there's so many question marks of Khabib that gets overthrown with how much success he's had. And I understand why 25-0 mauling people, completely get it. I just think there's been so much to it. I think people are losing the retrospect, like are losing the other side of it. That's my point.
I completely get it, and anybody can, and it can happen to anybody.
Like Ronda
It really
Rousey,
can.
no one thought could be beaten. Joanna Jacek, for some reason, everyone thought she was going to win, but you thought, okay, I think Rose may
What?
be able to crack her. Like I just
We
don't.
call it Rose, right?
Yeah.
From the get-go? Were you with me on that?
I'm not upset that Rose. I'm not
nailed
upset.
Rose.
I didn't
called
call it,
that.
but
I
I'll
was
t-
like the greatest.
I was
Rose
a
is winning
JoJo fan.
My
I
point
definitely.
being
I'm
was
still a
that-
Joanna. Joanna's winning round 2.
You think
Nobody-
Yeah. We'll get into that next
Yeah,
time.
nobody thought Ronda could lose, but once she got cracked, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, she really never did show her striking the way
You
we
may not
thought.
believe this, but when Holly Holm was in Invicta or whatever the female organization was in,
Yep.
me and my buddy Duke that I was telling you all about, we
Rufus?
both said it.
We'll beat Ronda.
I was like, she'll beat Ronda. I was like, a legit boxer will beat Ronda. A legit stand-up artist will beat Ronda.
You know Khabib beat RDA, who's now going to try to go for 2 weight class championship.
Yeah.
I just think
Oh, so did Tony Ferguson, by the way. He beat RDA. Bad. Yeah, he weared him down. All 5 rounds, destroyed him. Never did anything like that to RDA before.
no, he beat him. I don't
Bad.
think it was
I watched. He won every single round and wore him down.
I think like Tony will take too much punishment, and he does. I think a lot to a lot of fighters, and I think Khabib, I think just the matchups, and I don't know if John would agree with this, 98% of the fight game is matchups. Just matchups make fights,
Styles,
right?
yeah, styles make
make fights. There you go. Khabib is a bad matchup for Tony. I really do think that. Because I think...
Who's he not a bad matchup for?
Yeah, I'm about to say he's a bad matchup for Conor.
I think Conor will beat him, and not even... we're so pro Conor, so it's awful. I just think
You'd crack
Conor
him. You'd
will
crack him.
get
It's awful.
It's
You'd
awful.
crack- you'd crack
We're
him,
so
though.
pro LeBron and Connor's awful, but I think Conor could beat Khabib.
You'd
I'm
crack
like
him.
55-45.
If he cracks
I'm
you, you're done.
98-2 Khabib to Tony. I just think Khabib will take punishment. Khabib will walk right through him, and then when he's on top, Khabib won't stop. Like Khabib will do to Tony what he did to Barbosa.
So you have a coaching mind. You're in the corner of Tony Ferguson. You know Khabib's game plan is to go in the center of the ring, pressure you, set up those shots for a takedown.
So
What do you do if you're Tony? You don't think he's strategizing for, I'm going to be taken down. He's going to do this. He does the same thing every fight, and I'm not saying it's easy. It's harder said. It's easier said than done, but he has to be ready for that.
Okay, so Tony was a wrestler, wrestling base. You know, when he started out, so he has wrestling ability. We know that he's a freak. He's a freak athlete. Like
Yeah.
his cardio is ridiculous. There's like that. You hear about gym mythology and things like that about people in the gym when you feel them. You know, certain things when they do things. Khabib has that when he grabs you.
Yes.
That's the mythology. Like it's like the Bigfoot thing. Like if he he's never letting go.
Yeah.
He's like It's different. It's just different. It's like when I tell people when Mike Davis hits you in the body, it's just different.
I believe that, and I'm not saying he doesn't have
People,
that.
when he grabs you, it's different from what I understand. Like it's a different type of.
He wrestles
grab.
bears. I mean, come on now, humans
Like
are easy.
Connor's got that left hand.
To
There's
me,
just magic
if
in that
Tony
left hand.
wins, Tony wins by submission.
No.
Off his back,
Something crazy, something nuts.
off a scramble, because that's what he's good
Whatever,
at.
anything.
Jiu-jitsu black belt.
He is a Eddie Bravo
Which
black
is
belt,
a
which is
sick
that man
black belt.
is creative. He's super. I don't care what anybody's view
Rubber
on the man is
guard
before
and-
anything. He's creative. He's
Yeah.
He's an innovator.
Awkward,
he does things.
different, unique.
Yeah.
Wordplay. Good
What was it
wordplay.
in
Let's go
in
now.
the
All
early
right.
days? He's the one who tapped. I'm not.
I think I know you're talking about
A.
too.
Gracie. I don't want to say the wrong.
All the
one.
Gracies are
But-
great. So
yeah, but
Boys.
he like
boys, Joyce, boys.
David. now.
world champ. I think it was Royce actually. I don't know, but maybe it wasn't or Hoist. I
Royce
think it was
doesn't tap, so
no,
it's probably a broken limb in there somehow.
probably, I think that's what it was. Yeah. But he's an innovator, and Tony has that style, and Tony will go for something. He's like Charles Olivieri is the same
He's
version
great.
type of way when it comes to
Yes,
submission.
nasty
He
on
just
the ground.
comes up with stuff. Like they're legit submissions, but it's just like no one's gonna go for that in MMA, but he will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Type of
That's
thing. And
a
Tony will
dangerous
do that.
opponent to
and
go
that's why I
against.
think
So you still think Khabib?
So
But
if
you
it's-
see my point.
if
Tony-
it's dry, if it's in the first round and it's dry and they're not
Slippery and-
slippery or anything like that, and he gets something deep.
Tony or Khabib?
Max at least put up an argument. I see him thinking more than he was.
We got 5 fights. I got Khabib. You got Tony?
Well, I'll wait until him because I have
Okay.
one last explanation, then I'll be done with this.
I would rather see Khabib Connor in Russia than Tony.
That's
and
a bigger
Conor.
fight,
So
agreed.
I'm gonna roll with Khabib.
Judah
Okay,
Khabib.
and that's probably the same.
But I could see him losing by submission.
Okay, I think one thing is going to be what's going to happen is if he gets taken down. First, we've never seen Khabib in championship rounds, and I'm not saying he doesn't have conditioning, but championship rounds
It's a
can just
legit threat. That's a legit threat. That's
Yeah.
a legit
it
question.
could be a big factor as far as the moment and wow, I haven't beaten, like this guy's not done after after me getting on top of him and beating him. That could be a morale factor. It's like wow, this guy's still in there. I don't think it's the end of the fight if Tony Ferguson starts losing right away. I think he can come back because he has that mental toughness. I'm gonna go Tony Ferguson, a round 4 or round 5 TKO.
Strikes, huh?
Yeah, I think he actually
From
we're
ground
gonna-
and pound or from stand up?
No, I think he's gonna start rocking him and he'll get on top of him and he'll beat
finish
him.
that
Yeah.
way? Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. That's
Oh.
one. Well,
One thing about Khabib though, we got 2 problems. He's injury prone.
yes.
And
They
I don't
tried
like
this fight 3 times.
I don't
They
like to
tried
I don't
this.
I don't like to wish. I'm not wishing anything on anybody, but he is. He's injury prone. And
The weight cut is tough, but he has a new dietitian or whatever.
okay, sorry. Kevin Gastelum went back and forth a couple different times trying to make weight from all different things. He's made weight, and then next time he didn't make weight. Okay,
Exactly.
There's a lot of guys
It's-
that way.
it's psyche.
Diego Alves did that stuff too at some point, I think, in his career. There's a lot of guys that go back and forth, make weight. Prove it to me 2 or 3 times in a row.
Exactly.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I want him to make weight. And
of
I
course.
got to watch this fight. You got to have
Got
it.
to.
Got to love it. I
Right,
hope
even
they
if
come
he
in.
doesn't at this
Well, I
point.
hope they come in both with the most prestigious camps they've ever had.
Yeah.
Fully healthy.
Yes.
Let's get it on.
Let's go.
UFC 221.
We'll watch it live together.
Middleweight championship. Alehouse, okay. Middleweight championship. Yoel Romero versus Luke Rockhold. What do you got?
Do you want to
That's
know
an
that's like
easy
out of the
one.
list
Easy
you
one
have
for
right there
me.
that is most. To me, it's I don't.
Yeah, we're
It's
not
at
going to
least-
talk about it that much.
But
'cause
there's
it's easy.
5. Yeah, we got.
It's easy.
You're obvious that if you're saying it's easy, Yoel Romero's gonna win.
No.
No, Rockhold.
Rockhold.
Yeah, Rockhold.
Rockhold's
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
win.
yeah. Rockhold.
I'm not even a huge fan of him. I think he's just so well-rounded, and I think he's big for that weight class, and he's smart.
And I think he's super bitter and upset that he lost to Bisping and hasn't had like a rematch in this. It's been so long to get this rematch. He's going to go in there. And
Romero's
so
just scary
bad.
because he can win in the third round after losing all of it.
Yeah, my whole thing is if I want Rockhold to win because I really want Rockhold Whitaker.
Okay.
Because I've seen Whitaker beat Jacare. I've seen Whitaker beat Yoel Romero. I need to see Whitaker beat the other top guy, which
Nasty
is Luke,
head kick, by the way, by
which is-
Jacare.
Yeah, nasty.
Yeah.
He nasty.
Yeah.
He's bad.
UFC
He's a bad boy.
Charlotte.
He's a
So,
bad
okay,
boy.
you go Rockhold?
I'll go
So
Rockhold.
3-0
too.
Rockhold.
I'll go
Okay, let's go.
UFC
Just because I want to see Rockhold Whitaker.
222.
It's hard
That's
to
2 in a row you did because of matchups.
I did because it's so
I
hard to
love it.
trust Whitaker. It's so hard to not Whitaker. It's so hard to trust Rockhold. Because
Professor's like on to the next already. He goes, I don't care about this. I want Khabib and Conor
so he
Russia.
needs to
I
win.
don't care. I want Rockhold Jacare here.
well, because in Rockhold I just don't trust. I was a huge Rockhold fan. I loved his style for a while, but I don't trust him anymore.
Another AKA.
Fantastic camp.
Max Killer Holloway, Frankie Egner.
Okay, he has my name. I'm going Max Holloway. Easy. He is the best featherweight in that division. What he did to Aldo I'm going to say this right now, best featherweight of all time.
No.
Max
3-0
Holloway?
Max. He's not better
Yes,
than
yes.
Conor McGregor,
Okay,
but
well,
off
Conor
to the
McGregor's
next.
a lightweight now. That's why I'm saying it.
We're gonna get into that. You want to get into that right now?
Max Holloway, what he did to Jose. Okay.
Connor Max. You want to know who's better?
Come on now.
Conor
come
beat
on.
Max
You
with a torn ACL.
Yeah, he did. It was early in their careers. But if we're going Conor Holloway, I'm going Conor. I just classified him as a lightweight. That's why I did that.
Okay, so let's my flat out point right here. Okay, right for Max Holloway being the best featherweight.
Oh, you agreed with my
I
initial
absolutely agree with you. 100% agree with you.
Let's
I do
go.
not. No point. Connor has been
Besides Conor.
Connor should have been a lightweight his whole life. In my opinion,
Agree.
could have been a lightweight his whole life, and he has perfect power there. He has a better weight cut. It's just better for him. 145. Yes, he fought Max Holloway early in his career, but you also fought Max Holloway semi-early. And Max Holloway was 19 when he made it to the UFC. Okay, so he was fighting 19 years old. This kid hasn't even grown yet, man.
What he did to
He's a
Aldo,
grown
he
man.
just peppered him.
Conor
Peppered him.
McGregor's a grown
Smart.
man. Max Holloway just got his man strength.
So
He's smart.
honestly,
The way
so
he
you think
made Aldo exert his energy by just peppering him,
2 years
peppering him.
later, you think that's a different fight? Even like when 2 years later, Conor was probably at his
Holloway
peak
has
at
a
that-
cheek, bro.
You
featherweight.
put Conor, let Conor come down to the last time he fought at 145 versus Aldo. Put Max Holloway now in that
Oh,
frame.
come
Yeah.
on. I don't
Max
wanna do
Holloway
it.
wins
Okay, but
I'm so Conor. I'm going to say
look,
Conor, but
Conor hits Aldo with a punch in 13 seconds, flattens him. It's not luck. I don't call it luck.
no, I
I
totally
call
agree.
him going to sleep on the first punch luck.
Yeah.
I don't call the punch landing luck.
Oh,
So
no.
let's make that right.
Yeah.
You run that back 9 more times, that doesn't happen.
it doesn't
Run
happen
it
right
back
away, but Conor
99
beats
more
him every
times.
time.
Yeah, but he doesn't beat him like Max beat Jose. Max destroyed Jose Aldo.
He's beat Jose twice now.
I don't,
Bad.
I don't see it.
Bad.
I don't.
He went to war with the guy, took his best shots, and came back and made him look bad.
And I
No.
love Max. It's
No,
nothing
but
negative.
that's my
about
point.
That's what I'm
behind
saying.
it.
Besides
You
Conor,
ate.
it's Max.
We haven't even seen Conor eat any of Jose Aldo's shots. And if you think Jose Aldo can't punch, you're crazy.
Oh,
And
of
if you don't
course.
think he can't kick,
Oh.
you've never saw Conor eat anything of those. So we don't know. Okay?
That's
You
the
just
big
don't
if world
know.
that we live in. Conor just ended his
No,
career.
you're right. You're
Ever since
absolutely right. But
ever
my
since he
point
went
is
down, Aldo's done.
my point to it is Max Holloway did work.
He did.
Like
Agreed.
fantastic, unbelievable work.
Let's go.
Khabib 2-1 on Tony. We have 3-0 Rocco. We got 3-0 with Max Killer Holloway. Fourth fight, we got 2 left guys. We got the rematch.
No, Max Holloway, Edgar ain't no slouch though.
No,
No,
yeah,
of course,
Edgar
Conor.
is a-
The
I
only
love
person that
Frankie.
has Edgar's number is Jose Aldo.
True.
By the
this
way,
is
if
a-
Edgar
this is-
wins-
this is a close fight.
He joins that elite class as a two-weight
Yeah.
two-weight
Very
class
true.
champion.
But
Very
Edgar's gonna have a hard time with Holloway's length, and if he can't
Yeah,
get him
that's what-
down,
that's
it's gonna
what
be a
I'm-
problem.
yeah.
Now Edgar moves a lot and throws and has great angles.
Holloway's
and he's
just
a
too
he's
much
a
going on.
he's a coach's guy too because he fires right on cue from his coach. So like when Mark Henry says something, it's coming and it's in code. So like they call New York, he's throwing something.
That's
Yeah,
scary.
two-
You know, he throws.
It's a little
the
Chris
2-2.
Jon Radford.
You know about the 2-2. Frank Edgar throws a weird 2-2. It's really funny.
It's a Chris
but
Jon
that's good.
Radford moment.
Rose Namajunas, the champion, versus Joanna, ex-champion.
This was the one I wasn't ready for the most.
Okay.
But
You know
what's
me,
going
this
on?
is
Anybody
Anybody got
my
a coin?
this is my
You wanna
gr-
flip it?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
wanna
this-
just flip it.
probably my best call and MMA history with me calling Rose. She was actually one of the biggest upset, just betting terms. I was 100% sure Rose was winning.
I didn't give her a chance. I'm not even allowed in.
Yeah.
Rose, you're unbelievable, Rose. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
She actually might be watching. I don't know. She might be.
Amanda Nunes
I know
has been
she's
on
watching
this-
because y'all are above Ariel Helwani.
That's
so
true.
it's fine.
Amanda
That
Nunes
is
has
true.
been on Locked In. I don't know if you know that.
Who?
Well, Amanda Nunes.
Amanda Nunes.
Oh, really?
I swear. We,
Oh, that's awesome.
We were at an event. I'm like,
Titan FC,
Amanda,
which
I'm like,
Ando
Oh,
was going to be
yeah.
yeah, I'm like,
remember.
Amanda, I'm
Okay.
like, can I just have a couple words for you? We'll get into it. But I'm like, what's the chance of you and Cyborg in a super fight? That just seems to what's been going
You
on.
called it?
Yeah, Max called it a year and a half
Bruh,
ago.
that's what I'm talking
A year
about.
and a half ago.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Joanna
She's nice,
champion.
isn't she? She's a nice lady.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Really nice. Joanna champion defeats Rose in the rematch to regain her title. I got Joanna.
It's tough. It's like I just want to see it happen.
You go next. I'll
I
wait
just
till
want to
after
watch.
you.
Like I honestly, okay. So
You
look,
want to see the trilogy?
so my theory behind all this is like let's go back to all of Joanna's fights. There's one person that had kind of length on her, but the fighting style of pressure forward didn't work the way it did when Rose did it. Rose was the only other fighter that had length like her. She was only a half an inch in reach farther than her. She's normally 3 inches, 2 to 3 inches on these people, especially people like Carla Esparza, the other wrestler.
T-shirt Torres?
Even in that, she'd have length on her for that. But girls like the Nightmare, Jessica Andrade. I don't think that's her name really, but she's crazy. I mean, she's a fierce.
We just gave like a legit UFC her nickname.
Yeah, like the
people were gonna
Nightmare.
start
I mean,
calling her
she's
Nightmare.
take it from Diego because you're scary, girl. You're bad. You're a bad girl. You know what I mean? She's bad. And Rose is right to tell her that she's the scariest one in the division because she is. But Jacek had 3.5, 4 inches on her, I think, in reach, something like that. At least 3, if I'm saying it wrong. I mean, at least 3. But you got to realize the defense that Joanna uses is
Sounds like you're going towards Rose a little bit.
it's just hard because I want to know that she corrected it. In my opinion, and in my opinion doesn't mean anything.
It means
is-
everything now.
Well, I appreciate it does.
Come on.
It does. But what I'm saying is, like, to me, like if you saw her when she gets crowded, she pushes off with both hands deep. Rose is a half inch. That's not gonna work.
Yeah, she gets clocked.
That's like I can't push off somebody that has the same length on me because I'm still gonna get hit.
Yeah.
When Jessica Andrade comes in, she pushes off, both hands in the face moves and get angles, and then pops off more. Right, keeps that away. Keeps Claudia Gadea away that same way. Kept Caroline Kolowatsky, or I can't pronounce that name.
not
The
gonna
other
try to pronounce the last name, but yes.
the other
She's
Polish
a bad
fighter.
woman
she,
too,
She
guys.
is, but she doesn't have the pressure forward fighting that all these other little girls.
So you
did.
sound all these reasons. Just go ahead and say Rose.
No, I'm not though because she's a true champion. She trains like a
Yes.
true champion.
Yes.
And I know that because I mean I don't want to say I know that firsthand, but from what I've seen, and I hope it's not fake and it's not for show, she grinds.
Oh,
she
yeah,
gets
100%.
it. She's
It's her
nasty.
life.
Like all the people in her gym respect her for her grind. You know what I mean? She's a girl and she's grinding it. Just as hard. I mean, she's like Taylor with the dudes. She's in there grinding with the pros. You know what I mean? And same thing she's in there with the guys. So she grinds. So I know that hopefully that's, in my opinion, that was the flaw because it got caught so early. It was a clean. You try to get back. Rose is like, nope.
I got
Real
the
quick step in,
perfect
left
analogy.
hook, and put you out. Right after a head kick that she didn't think had length on it.
So go ahead and say yours, and then I got my perfect.
Do I have to call that one?
Yeah, you have to.
You're locked in.
It will forever be in the world, the internet web.
The ether.
Rose is such a great person. I'm gonna choose Rose.
Okay, have you
Because
guys
she can do it. Because she can do it again.
Have
Don't
you-
ever doubt it. She can do it again.
have you
But-
guys ever seen Chris Weidman versus Anderson Silva?
Yes.
And Anderson
8
Silva was
times.
the greatest of all time, arguably. And he always had but
I don't
he's-
like
and-
talking about that. It
And
broke-
he's,
breaks
he's,
my
he's a
heart.
better fighter than Chris Weidman will ever be.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, of course.
And
But there's always that one.
but there's just that one weird reason Chris Weidman just gets him. And that's what Rose and Joanna's going to be. I think Joanna's probably the more skillful fighter.
So you're like, okay, he's just saying he
I
just has
think
his number.
Rose
He
has,
he
yeah,
has
I
his
think
ticket.
Rose just has her number.
So 2 roses. So I'm
Yeah, I
outnumbered
don't-
here with. I actually go against my
And you're not
rose and
crazy.
get outnumbered.
You're not crazy. I just think I think Rose at first is not intimidated, and 2, she's not dumb enough to do the same
She
thing.
stood there and said the Lord's Prayer in front of her.
Yeah, Joe
While
Rogan's
she's
like,
cussing,
oh
getting
my
cussed out. I was like,
God.
that's epic.
I
Yeah,
think
it was
Rose
epic.
does it
That was
again.
one of the greatest mind. Like
Yeah,
that's
oh
a
my
reverse
gosh.
mind.
If I hit your
She
face
won the
and
fight
you don't,
before the fight, probably.
if I hit your face and you don't react, it's like, oh, what the hell's wrong with this guy? Like any normal person would want to fight me right now.
Yeah, she's just like,
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, but I think Rose.
Okay. 2 rose, 1 Joanna. Last one, guys. And this is the one. Broken
best
news.
one.
It was 2-3 days ago. I got the T-shirt right now. I'm wearing it. I'm DC for life. UFC 226, July 7th, Las Vegas, Nevada. DC, the light heavyweight championship, moves up to heavyweight to fight Stipek, who is the
Stipe Miocic, bro.
greatest heavyweight. That's why he's Max at Dave. We're like peanut butter and jelly.
You think he's the greatest heavyweight of all time?
Yeah, he's
Yes.
the greatest
Yeah,
heavyweight
he
of all
is, he
time.
is, he is.
We don't even have to argue that.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
just
yeah,
go.
no,
We're
I
good with
would
it.
say
I love
Kane-
him.
I would say Cain Velasquez before his injuries. I think what he was doing to heavyweights was what Daniel Cormier, what Khabib was doing to everybody else. It just injuries is a part of it.
Yeah,
so.
longevity,
Yeah.
just his skill in the ring, 3 title defenses, all that in
You think he comes back? You think Kane comes back and competes though as well again?
I think he'll try again.
No.
I don't know if
No.
he'll ever be the same.
Yeah, I don't. I think he will be a good heavyweight. I think he will probably get bounced by one of the top guys, but he will beat the 5 through 8 range, 1 or 2 of those guys.
You think he'll end up being a gatekeeper
He'll be the gatekeeper.
at one point? He's the guy that
No.
all the new prospects
like
need
what
to go through.
Arlovsky was right now.
I don't think he does that. I think.
You
It's
think he
either
retires before that?
Yeah,
It's
yeah, I
either
do
he's
think he retires.
too.
I
I
think
would
he. I think he does. He probably fights maybe the winner of this, honestly, for the strap,
I think he's either the
and
champion or
then
nothing.
loses. I think he fights one guy, probably underneath that, beats him, and then it's done. I really do.
I think he's a champion or nothing because
Yeah.
his legacy is too big for him to just be a gatekeeper. And then secondly, I think it's it's. I always say this with NBA players, especially the bigger you are, the harder it is to recover from injuries because there's just so much pressure on your joints. Big guys typically don't recover well from injuries, especially if it keeps happening. So I think it's if he doesn't make a great comeback off his first fight, he's done. But back to your point, Stipe versus DC.
You ready? I'm calling it right now.
The shirt on. We know who.
DC wins the world heavyweight champion, 2 weight class champion, Daniel.
He's never
I got
going back
DC.
to light heavyweight, by the way. He said that.
Really?
Yeah. He
Then-
said he's giving away his 205 belt and he's going up.
Then there's to me because
Still got
he said he's always said as long as Kane was in the division he would never go up to heavyweight.
So you're thinking Kane's retired?
I'm just saying what he said on
Yeah, yeah,
record.
for-
before.
and it's
Like,
been there
It's been
for
there. He said
4
it for
years
before.
he said that. Yeah,
he
yeah.
said it plenty of times. He's like, I'm never going to go up there because my boy's up there.
Yeah.
My brother's up there. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. So that may mean something, man.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
a good
Kane
point.
is-
You're reading into it. You're the professor. Gosh.
Got to when they unless you know I don't think I respect DC so much. Was never a big huge fan, but when he did go against John Jones because I just don't care for John Jones's
You rooted for him.
outside actions. Probably the greatest fighter ever, but
God bless America.
yeah, but I just don't care for his actions. So
Yeah.
I rooted for DC hardcore,
Me too.
and
Me too.
I like DC.
You're wearing DC too, by the way. so.
Whoa,
I'm just saying.
Locked in, Max.
I'm going the other way, buddy. But
Going
but it's hard. It's hard to go against DC. It's hard because
He's only lost
he
to
also-
John Jones, who's the greatest fighter ever
Does he
in the
have
cage.
2 tickets? Do 2 people own the ticket to DC? That's my problem here. I love Stipe. I love him. I think he's a blue collar worker.
Dude,
he's a
he's a
he doesn't
wrestler.
ever-
Firefighter.
He doesn't ever want to become. He doesn't want to quit firefighting.
Yeah.
How do you not respect
I
that?
know.
Yeah.
And he's, while he's
Homeboy's
training,
killing. He's the
Love
baddest
it.
man on the planet. He
He-
wants to save people
he wants-
out of
yeah,
fires.
to fight fire.
Like you know what I'm saying?
he has a power. He has wrestling. He's recovered. Talk about what have they been under pressure?
Oh.
He's been under pressure
He's-
countless times. Beat
Yeah.
the people that nobody wants to face. I
He-
love Stipe.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I love him, but my whole thing. Does 2 people have DC Chromate? Do 2 people have his ticket?
No.
It's usually 1. It's usually you got 1 nemesis, and he owns you. You know what I mean?
So who are you going with?
It's tough, man.
I know, I think-
we're gonna finish talking about this before, and then
A
I'll
part,
go.
a part of me feels like Stipe is going to clip him because heavyweight power is different than light heavyweight power. But
He won the Grand Prix, homie.
I was
Yeah,
just gonna
but
say he
who-
was a.
He was
strikeforce heavyweight
beating.
champion.
He was
no,
getting
no.
hit by heavy
no,
hitters.
agreed. I didn't say my prediction. I'm just saying. I'm just looking on both sides. Who
But
did he
he's
fight
been
in the Grand
cracked.
Prix?
He
By
just
the
got
way,
cracked though. He
Who
got
did
cracked with a
fight-
head kick.
Once you get knocked out, you've been. Like,
It's different, and it's an older age. He's older
Yeah.
now.
Who did he fight in the Grand Prix? Do you remember?
He fought. He was an alternate, by the way. Wasn't even
Yes,
supposed to be
yes,
in there.
he won it.
Yeah, and he won it. He beat Antonio Bigfoot Silva.
Yes.
He beat Josh Barnett,
in Verdum.
and he beat
Wait, he fought.
I thought he
Verdum?
beat Verdum in the championship.
No
Like,
way.
No, he beat the
Barnett in the
no,
championship.
he beat Barnett in the semifinals. He beat Antonio Bigfoot Silva in the second round.
Most overrated heavyweight, by the way.
What they did to him in Glory was not right. They should have never put him up
I'm talking about
against
Barnett.
No. Oh, Barnett? You think
Yeah.
he's a really?
God, he just annoys me every time. Like I just think he's a great. He's a legend. I'm not saying he's not. If you-
Overrated though. I don't know about
Look at his.
overrated.
Are you impressed with him when you watch him fight? Ever? Have you ever said
He's old
wow?
school. He's just ground and pound. He's,
Yeah,
he's
like,
an
have
old
you
school
ever-
dude. He's just what he is.
Have you ever been impressed with him when you saw him fight? Just say yes or no.
In his heyday, yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
Who
yeah.
was he
heyday,
fighting
yes.
in his heyday?
He was fighting. He was the
He
guy.
was the
he was
UFC champion of the world.
champion
So
at
was
one
Tim
point.
Sylvia.
He was a bad man at one point,
Tim
bro.
Sylvia was never a bad
He
man.
was never a bad man.
Are you kidding me?
He's 6'6" with a range gonna knock you out.
With a kick.
I'm not.
Tim
I'm
Sylvia
not-
was the worst UFC champion we've ever seen.
I mean, I
Hands
can,
down.
He's still a bad man.
Not even close. If you've ever seen Tim Sylvia fight, he is the worst champion we've ever seen. And want to know how I know it's bad? He would go to a coffee shop and bring the belt with him because he was so happy he had it. It was bad. Randy Couture, 40-year-old,
Does
came
with
out of
his belt
retirement
is his
and
own
beat him.
business, sir. What he does with his
He
belt
likes
is
to
his
go to
own business.
Starbucks and with their belt. Who wouldn't?
Let's be real.
Gee
If I want
whiz.
to,
If you want it, you could take it wherever.
I'm going everywhere with it. I'm going
But
everywhere.
back to the point, I think Daniel Cormier comes away with the win.
Okay.
Your point kind of had me sold. Two people don't have your number. If you're beating everybody else but John Jones, and
But who has Stipe's number? Does DC have Does DC have Stipe's number?
I don't think DC has his number. I just think he'll win. You know?
I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with Stipe.
Are you looking
because
at
I like
Tim Sylvia
Stipe.
stats?
No,
I
it
hope
was-
you were. I really do.
It was
He beat-
Josh Barnett's stats, and it's a goddamn Hall of Fame list that he's defeated. I didn't
Yeah.
even know some of the guys back in the day. Nogueira.
Yeah, he's beaten a lot
Dude,
of
he's-
big name guys, bro.
Let me go with Mark Hunt.
I never said he didn't. I'm
Like,
just,
You're really lowballing Josh
I
Barnett.
just don't understand the comment of overrated.
I'll take
Yeah, yeah,
Josh
just-
Barnett over Tim Sylvia.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, all day.
Okay,
Come on
okay,
now.
as long as we're
I'm
clear
not
with
saying
Tim
I'm not
Sylvia.
comparing the two that way. I'm just saying, like at
You're
one
a
point,
better UFC champion than Tim Sylvia. I'm serious.
That's actually makes perfect sense.
Yes.
I agree with Max on that one too.
okay, all right, all right. Maybe, no, I'm
I
not.
hope
But
you're
okay,
seeing
it's
this,
fine.
Tim Sylvia. I'm calling you out.
Oh,
DJ Treble, Tim Sylvia.
The referee at the main
You're the
event
referee at the
game.
main
News
leg game,
Journal.
and the Daytona
News Journal.
News Journal. You are locked
Locked
out.
out.
Okay, get out of here, guys. We've been going for it all night. I'm
Best episode
woozy.
ever.
Yeah,
Who
probably.
do you have?
Oh, I just
Oh,
had
yeah.
I just had a Stipe.
He says Stipe, but
I
it
got
is
Stipe.
to DC.
It's hard to say somebody, but I'm gonna go with Stipe because he's the man, bro. Yeah,
You're not crazy. You're not
he's the
crazy.
man.
If he wins, is he the GOAT?
No, I got Anderson. Still.
Rockhole 3-0, guys. Max Holloway 3-0. 2 to Khabib, 1 to Tony. We have 2 to Rose, 1 Ioana, and 2 DC versus 1 Stipic.
Oh, no. One more we need to add to that. That's going to be added to the Super fight card. TJ Dillashaw versus Mighty Mouse.
It's not announced. It's not officially announced.
It's
You can't
going to
go-
be announced.
man,
I spoke to Dana White before we came out here. So,
No,
who if they fought?
We're gonna
Do you
break
believe
it-
that man?
You're
You're
gonna-
ask that question. Do you
you're
believe
gonna-
that man?
You're going to break the news before Ariel won.
Hey, I'm banned now. From
We
the
are
UFC.
being podcast.
Is Demetrius Johnson and TJ just all fake news right now? That's all I'm wondering.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I
he
just-
does. No, I'm not
We
gonna
can't,
get
it's not
into
announced. We can't go.
politics. Who do you have?
Let's
TJ
not get
Dillashaw-
political, boys.
If you really want to talk about who the GOAT is, DJ or not DJ. What am I saying? I'm
You
sorry.
said it right.
Demetrius. Yeah, DJ. I guess he is Demetrius Johnson, but Demetrius is technically
The
all
GOAT.
around the perfect type of fighter. I mean, he does everything: his striking, his angles, his flow, his pressure, his understanding of his own range, along with yours right away after he feels you out, and then also the absolute transitions from wrestling to jiu-jitsu submissions is retarded. He's crazy. He's a freak.
I'm holding my hand in a podcast to talk. It's like I'm in 4th grade again.
Well, I'm a teacher, so I'll call it.
You ready?
That was
Professor.
deep.
DJ, all what you said is 100% true. But can the best baseball player ever hit singles? And can the best basketball player just do assist? And can the best football player just tackle and not get touchdowns? I just feel like him being a flyweight almost restrains him from being the greatest fighter of all time.
I can agree with you on that. For the
That's-
reason that it's hard to picture a 125er beating a heavyweight.
Yeah,
But you can picture
a middleweight.
GSP
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Anderson Silva beating a heavyweight, and
Yeah.
you could definitely picture them beating a 125er.
Yeah.
So that's why it's hard. But if you're looking at who you want
That was
somebody,
Ichiro, John Stockton.
Yeah, they can't be the greatest of all time. It's got to be Jordan, who's in the
I'd
middle.
love for a white dude to be the greatest player of all time in basketball, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Like
Chris
I'm over-
Mullin. Chris Mullin.
But John Stockton is not gonna get there for
Larry
that,
Bird.
bro.
Like,
He's
Two-
up there.
two
He's up there.
players
He's top
getting
3
named-
of mine. If you want to know the truth, he's still
No.
top 3 of mine.
He's
that's
slipping though.
ridiculous. We'll get to that.
He's,
but
he's
that-
like he's
you're
gonna be
you're gonna
eighth
come
now.
on again in the future just
Kevin
to debate what you
Durant's
just
sleeping
said.
over him now. He's Larry Bird's down the rankings now.
I was crazy. Remember when I said Kevin Durant was
2-3
going to be
years ago,
better?
we didn't go with championship. Guys, we can't get into it. It's 8 hours.
Hey, you didn't say anything. Don't
TJ.
get out of this.
TJ.
Yeah.
You didn't say anything.
I'm gonna go
TJ in the upset.
DJ. I'm gonna go Demetrius.
I'm going with God, every time he says something, I'm like convinced this way, that way, because I feel like he's right. But I'm
He's
gonna
probably-
go.
He's smarter than
I'm
me,
going
so-
TJ. I'm going TJ.
I feel okay.
a lock in.
I like. The reason I like DJ so much is because of his coach Matt Hune.
I'm just closing the door. I'm not locking it in. Like we'll open this
Oh,
the
I
other
like
day.
the analogy
I'm
there.
down with that.
We'll
I'm down with
open
that.
this the other day. Like
I'm
I'm,
down
not
with that.
fully.
guy.
What,
He's just
let's
throwing
put
your
it this
hand.
way.
He
We
hasn't
won't lock it
locked
in.
it.
We won't lock it in until it's officially announced.
Yeah, exactly.
There
we
All right,
go.
right there.
We have to do our locked-ins, and then that's it.
Yeah. Cool.
You ready?
Yeah.
You go first.
All right.
Get one, John. Think about it.
My
Profess.
locked in for today's episode. There's so much to talk about. We obviously talked about so much,
A
so
lot.
it's so hard to focus on just one
It was
thing.
epic. That was it.
I think, first of all, I think it's already known through everybody that you're going to be in the studio again, so it doesn't need to be a locked in. Like, everyone knows that. So I think my locked in will be Chris Mixon will be... I don't want to put pressure on him. He's like a good friend of mine, but I'm going to say he's going to have like the brightest future out of anybody I know. And I'm not saying Mike Davis won't be a UFC champion or Taylor. I just think his like ceiling, like he doesn't have one. I think the sky's the limit. I think what
That's a
you
great one.
like. I think
Yeah.
what you and Chris have, especially what you were saying, as far as being coachable, which just takes you such a long way. And I think he like the UFC belt like is seriously a realistic thing for him. Like that's not even like, oh, I could see this one day. Like I really do.
Yeah,
So that's my lockdown. I think Chris Mixon will be a champion.
I agree with you. With there's no ceiling to it. There's no ceiling to his ability to what he
Yeah.
wants to do.
And he just always learning too.
Absolutely.
So yours, or is it Coach John, or is it the produce?
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it.
I just please hold the mic, Dave. Damn.
We've been rocking and rolling all night long. The last podcast, it was probably you said maybe the best locked in ever. I'm not going to go so futuristic, and I almost went there. One fight at a time. The next fight is always the most important, so I'm just going to keep it easy. February 10th, Taylor White starts 1-0. The first fight is most important. Get the
Agreed.
first W. TKO this girl. Get out of there
gonna ask
healthy.
you.
You like that?
Yeah.
TKO? You always go there already.
Always
TKO
love the strikes.
Taylor,
Always love the
start
strikes.
1-0. Get this going. The rocket will be attached to you. She's off to the top.
I like it.
Professor, it's up to you.
All right. Tom Brady breaks his toe before the Super Bowl.
Come on now. Come on now.
Breaking news. Breaking news.
He stubs it, can't play, and
It's
the
John
Eagles
Radford,
win.
Then locked in. Then Ariel won.
And the Eagles win. No, I would love that though. God.
There's no way Nick Foles and Doug Peterson's beating Tom Brady and Bill Belichick.
But what if it happens? All right. What if they have the number? What if they have Brady's ticket? It's
That's-
Eli
that's
Manning.
Eli
The
and
only
Tom
person
Coughlin.
that has his
Eli.
ticket
What's
is,
Eli?
is him.
Okay, so my locked in is this year. This year we will, as Pete White boxing goes, will be one of those years where people truly, truly turn their eye and look and go, damn, what's coming out of that gym? You know what I mean? On a national level, on a national full-time, big level. It's going to be one of those, whether it be, Mike Davis, whether it be, Taylor or Chris getting, on the amateur level getting recognition and things like that. But I think Mike and the pros are leading the way, and it's gonna be big for us. This year's gonna be one of those.
I think he wins.
2018 is gonna be
Yeah.
the boom.
Let's
The
go.
boom.
And we're
So
coming
I
up
think
with you
that's-
guys. We're
Yeah,
gonna do it.
absolutely. You guys are putting in work over here, man.
We're
I'm
trying.
so
We're
proud of you
doing
guys. It's
as much
awesome.
as we can do. And like I said, I could have said Mike Davis. I could have said Taylor. There's so many. I'm just proud that we have so many choices.
Absolutely,
So that's a
absolutely.
blessing.
We the breeding ground's happening again. More than just basketball and football in this area. We got the fight game growing, which is awesome.
Yeah, really has. Produce. Let's go.
I mean, honestly, there's not much more I can say that you guys haven't said. I mean, it's tough. I mean, I'm coming from not really much of a fight background, and
But you said you loved it, right? The Clash of the
that
Titans?
was the first time I've ever seen any sort of live fight.
It was awesome.
and it was amazing seeing the energy, talking to Mixon before the fight,
Yeah.
and then watching him
and then seeing it after.
follow through. It's just amazing. I was disappointed I didn't get to see Taylor. I really wanted to see
Yeah.
because I haven't
Us
seen
too.
anything of it. But I mean, honestly, you guys kind of all said it. I'm with what you guys have been talking about with these fighters coming out of Pete White's gym. I really don't. I see the sky as the limit. I mean, it's
crazy.
it's amazing. I'm really looking forward to
Exciting.
seeing a lot of these kids,
Yeah.
come up. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
And
so.
for you too. As a coach,
Started
I want
from
you
the
to go down
bottom
as the
and we're here.
greatest. You and Coach Pete as the greatest team,
Oh,
and
that-
everybody in that gym.
would
Everyone
be-
talks
that
about
would be
Greg
awesome.
Jackson and just all these people. Duke Rufus.
John, they say the first million's the hardest.
And by the way, if you get the nickname as a coach as the professor because you're teaching everybody, just know it started with us.
It did. Well, we got to give Andy credit. You brought it to the front.
Yeah, okay.
But Andy threw it out in the gym one day.
Andy had it, then you
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
I just took the credit for it.
You know, and
don't
we'll
get Anderson, don't get Superman mad.
no, don't talk on his
I got
cape.
Batman on
Yeah,
my
that's
side.
right. I got a kryptonite ring somewhere.
Holy
I just
shit!
haven't figured out what it is yet for him.
Epic, guys, epic.
Yeah, and
night.
thank you for not asking me about my nickname that I told you all about before. The
We
John
keep-
Noss. We'll talk about it another time.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
can-
Yeah,
That's-
he'll come back on.
We keep pushing
We
that
can
away.
do
That's
for
good.
hours more. So.
We could do another 2-hour episode.
No, I'm good. I got to get up in the morning too as well. But
Thank you,
Awesome.
sir.
All right,
dude,
guys.
this was awesome. Thank you guys so much.
It was a
Appreciate it.
pleasure to have you on. And like always, everybody, make sure you stay
Locked
in.
Yeah. You now locked in with the best. We ain't rocking with the rest. And when it's game time, we gon' put you to the test. Come the ball, we hitting it, kicking it, or we dribbling, passing it, or we running, or it's the ring that we flip you in. So what's the news? You want the scoop? You gotta keep it locked. To David Max podcast through your speaker box. What's poppin', my friend? You know the drop in. And the only thing left to do is keep it locked in.